Yi Mo brought Tang Beiwei to a hotel and walked to the reception and said, "Can you get me another room? I'll give you the bond tomorrow." Yi Mo brought Tang Beiwei to a hotel and walked to the reception and said, "Can you get me another room? I'll give you the bond tomorrow." The girl looked at Yi Mo and then looked at Tang Beiwei behind him. She talked as though she had never seen Yi Mo before. "Sorry, sir. You need to pay if you wish to book another room." Yi Mo didn't think the reception would be so stingy. He had been living here for 4 days already. Just when Yi Mo wanted to talk, he was pulled by Tang Beiwei. "Brother Yi, I'll share a room with you tonight. Don't spend more money." Yi Mo thought so too. He was going to be making runes at night, so he wouldn't be sleeping anyways. He could leave the bed to Tang Beiwei. Now that Tang Beiwei said this, he didn't want to waste time talking to the reception and nodded. "In that case, let's go up first." Tang Beiwei followed to Yi Mo's room and saw it was a single bedroom. She felt this sorrow for some reason. Although she was very grateful to Yi Mo and had decided to give her first time to him to compensate for tricking him when he saved her. But when she was really about to face it, she couldn't accept it. But since Yi Mo could bring her to this room, that meant he had that thought too. If he didn't, why did he bring a single girl into a single room? When Tang Beiwei was taking a shower, Yi Mo organized the materials. There were still 20 sets. Yi Mo took out the phone and hesitated a long time. He still couldn't decide if he was going to call Su Jingwen. He sighed and thought he should wait till tomorrow. There were 20 left, and it was enough for the night. After a while, Yi Mo put the phone away and looked at Tang Beiwei, who had finished her shower. She used a towel to wrap her body, but her long white legs still showed. She had a very slim figure, rendering this stunning sense of enticement. However, Yi Mo didn't have any feelings at all. It was as though Tang Beiwei wasn't as seductive as Jing Shi. He looked curiously at Tang Beiwei and said, "You finished the shower, then go and sleep on the bed." Yi Mo thought she was going to thank him first, but she just agreed and went to the bed. Yi Mo shook his head. She really wasn't going to act polite. Tang Beiwei slept on the bed with her heart thumping. She didn't know when Yi Mo would come. She felt shaky. She wanted Yi Mo to come early, and after it was done, she would feel less guilty. Tang Beiwei's heart was nervous and conflicted, plus, she had been quite stressed lately, so she fell asleep unknowingly. Seeing Tang Beiwei had fallen asleep, Yi Mo started to make runes again, although he tried to be careful and not waste materials. A night was over, and he only made 7 from 20 sets of materials. The success rate was still less than a third. He rested for a long while before sighing. He packed up the things and took a shower. It was almost dawn, and he knew he had to borrow money. If he didn't, it was impossible to beat Jing Shi with the 30 runes he made. Plus, there might be more than one with Jing Shi's strength. Tang Beiwei slept very comfortably. She opened her eyes but didn't see anyone beside her. Yi Mo didn't sleep on the bed last night. She sat up subconsciously and realized her clothes were fine untouched. The blanket slid down and she quickly pulled. Yi Mo saw Tang Beiwei sit up. He came over and said, "I need to go out for a bit. Don't run around after you get up. Wait till I get some money." Yi Mo knew that he killed 3 people last night, and although no one knew what happened last night, if they didn't appear for so long, it would arouse suspicion. "You didn't sleep on the bed last night?" Tang Beiwei asked in surprise. Yi Mo's words made her feel warm and more guilty. "No, I was doing things last night," Yi Mo casually said. "Huh." Tang Beiwei was worried. Yi Mo didn't take her last night. It was going to be daylight soon. What should she do? Today was the 25th already. "Brother Yi, can you come up and stay with me for a bit?" "Aye." Tang Beiwei said such embarrassing words for the first time. She felt her body shake heavily. Yi Mo looked strangely at Tang Beiwei and thought, did he look wrong? What else could it be for a girl to ask a man to sleep with her? Seeing Yi Mo shake his head, Tang Beiwei was worried and pulled his hand. Sorry, brother Yi, this is my first time. I want to give it to you. After saying this, she was full of sweat, and her face was indescribably red. She would have never thought she would say something so shameless. However, she had no experience in seducing men and could only express it so straightforwardly. Yi Mo grabbed her wrist. Tang Beiwei felt relieved. He was finally going to take it. She didn't know if she was disappointed or happy. There are all sorts of feelings, but she didn't dare to look at Yi Mo. Yi Mo noticed the bracelet on Tang Beiwei's wrist. It was the exact same one his sister gave him. What was this? Tang Beiwei's hand was grabbed by Yi Mo, but she didn't see him do anything for a long while. The rudiness retreated, and she looked up strangely at Yi Mo. Brother Yi. Tang Beiwei called out quietly. Her impression of Yi Mo was getting better and better. If it was a normal person, he probably would have done something already. She was the prettiest girl in her school, but Yi Mo still didn't do anything. Yi Mo sighed. Tang Beiwei, can you tell me where you got your bracelet from? Huh. She knew now that Yi Mo grabbed her wrist because he was looking at her bracelet. This was the thing left behind by her mother to recognize her brother. Did he like it? If he did, she would give it to him. Thinking about this, Tang Beiwei took it off and gave it to Yi Mo. My mum gave this to me not long ago. Brother Yi, you saved me. You don't want me, but if you like this bracelet, then take it. Yi Mo took the bracelet and looked at it carefully. It was indeed the same as his bracelet. The jade and imprints were the same. There was no difference. He passed the bracelet to Tang Beiwei and smiled. Sleep for a while more. I'm not trying to take your bracelet, just having a look. Tang Beiwei took the bracelet in confusion. She didn't understand what Yi Mo meant. Did he really have no intentions for her? Was she not good-looking enough for him? If there was anything Tang Beiwei had to be proud of, it was her looks. She never thought she looked worse than anyone. Yi Mo picked up the phone and was about to call Yi Ling about the bracelet, but he realized his phone was out of battery, so he put it aside to charge. Then he walked to Tang Beiwei's bedside and said, Can you lend me your phone? Huh. Tang Beiwei saw Yi Mo walk over, and her heart started thumping again. However, she didn't expect Yi Mo to be just borrowing her phone, as she quickly said, Okay, here. Then she passed the phone beside her pillow to Yi Mo. Yi Mo remembered Yi Ling's number, and he dialed it. However, the info that appeared made Yi Mo freeze. After he dialed the number, the words Yi Mo's girlfriend came up. Tang Beiwei knew Yi Ling? No. Since she wrote Yi Mo's girlfriend, it meant that she had heard of him, but she asked him for his name before. This girl was acting. Yi Mo looked coldly at Tang Beiwei and hung up for now. Tang Beiwei was looking at Yi Mo while thinking, but now Yi Mo suddenly looked at her and his eyes were very cold. She shivered, subconsciously. Yi Mo's eyes were too cold. From yesterday till now, she had never seen such cold eyes from Yi Mo. Yi Mo walked up to Tang Beiwei's bed and pulled away her blanket, revealing the wonderful body of hers that only had lingerie on. However, Yi Mo acted as though he didn't see it. He grabbed her up and walked to the window and coldly said, This is the 6th floor. If you say one lie, I will throw you down immediately. Tell me, why did you find me intentionally? What is it? Tang Beiwei still didn't wake up from the shock, but when Yi Mo asked her, she realized it. She looked at herself just wearing lingerie on, but was carried by Yi Mo's hand. She was very embarrassed. Her eyes went red and tears gushed out once again. Yi Mo didn't seem to see it and coldly said once again, You have 1 minute. If you don't talk, then don't blame me. Throw me down, Tang Beiwei had this sudden sense of being wronged. Instead of living like this, she might as well die. When her mother died, she could stay with her mother. Why live in the world and be abused? Yi Mo looked at Tang Beiwei in surprise. She didn't even fear death. Was there a crueler plan? Yi Ling was his sister, and that was his bottom line. They dared to touch her, then don't blame him. No matter what, he had to investigate this clear. He threw Tang Beiwei on the bed once again and coldly said, Tell me everything. What do you want with me, and who sent you? Tang Beiwei pouted her lips and sat on the ground. She didn't care about how she looked, but just didn't say a word. She hated Yi Mo. Her original good impression of Yi Mo was gone immediately. This person was so barbaric, not caring she was a girl at all, and just carried her by the neck. No wonder someone was targeting him. Served him right. Tang Beiwei pouted her lips and sat on the ground. She didn't care about how she looked, but just didn't say a word. She hated Yi Mo. Her original good impression of Yi Mo was gone immediately. This person was so barbaric, not caring she was a girl at all, and just carried her by the neck. No wonder someone was targeting him. Served him right. Yi Mo sneered. The only reason he didn't use forceful interrogation was because she had a bracelet. I don't know why you have my sister's number saved, or why you purposely came close to me. I just know that I won't let the person live no matter who tries to touch my sister. I admit your acting skills are quite good. You even tricked even me. I'll give you another minute. If you don't talk, then don't blame me for using force. Yi Mo's voice was getting colder and colder. Tang Beiwei looked up in surprise. Who did you say is your sister? When do I know your sister? Just when Yi Mo wanted to rage, he saw Tang Beiwei didn't seem to be lying, so he sneered and said, The one saved as Yi Mo's girlfriend on your phone is my sister. Not only did you record my sister's number, but you also tried to get close to me. What do you want? Tang Beiwei was caught off guard. She subconsciously wanted to stand up, but immediately realized her situation and quickly covered herself with the blanket. She frowned and didn't talk. Yi Mo stared deadly at Tang Beiwei. If she tried to play any tricks, he would start using forceful interrogation. Tang Beiwei didn't know why Wei Yongqian said Yi Mo's sister was his girlfriend. However, no matter what, Tang Beiwei knew Wei Yongqian was tricking her. From today till now, he had been lying to her the whole time. Tang Beiwei had decided to spill everything. When she looked up, she saw Yi Mo giving her a deadly stare. Tang Beiwei subconsciously covered her chest. Yi Mo sneered. You don't need to worry. I'm not interested in you. Don't need to keep acting. Tang Beiwei's face grew more pale, but didn't rebuke Yi Mo's words. She rubbed her eyes and said, A few days ago, a person called Wei Yongqian found me and said you stole someone's girlfriend. And that person wants to teach you a lesson. So they told me to get close to you. Even if I can't be your girlfriend, I needed to get close to you and best. Get in bed with me, right? You don't need to stutter. I didn't see you being shy before. Yi Mo sneered. Tang Beiwei bit her lips till blood came out, but she didn't notice it at all. She continued, Yes, then I'm to take you somewhere, and that person would bring your girlfriend there too. Your girlfriend would call me, and I would tell her the place. Then she would see me being intimate with you, and that way your girlfriend could see who you really are, and then I would get intimate with other men in front of you in order to make you. Take my life, right? Yi Mo's voice was really cold, making Tang Beiwei shiver. Tang Beiwei quickly shook her head. No, they said they would beat you up at most and injure you. They want to make you feel despair. Make your girlfriend feel despair to you. Tang Beiwei spoke till now and didn't even believe it herself. Would these people really do that? Wei Yongqian had lied to her a few times already. Could his words be trusted? Humph. Yi Mo was sure that these people not only wanted his life, but also Yiling's too. Perhaps they would rape her in front of him to make him lose his marbles. Yi Mo sneered. I wonder how much your first time was sold for. Oh, right, perhaps it's not your first time. Who knows how many times you have been sold? Because Yi Ling's life was on the line, it was the first time Yi Mo spoke so harshly to a girl. Tang Beiwei opened her mouth and spat out blood. Her face was pale like paper, but she bit her teeth, not wanting to say a word. She had tricked him already, so he could do whatever he wanted to her. She could only blame herself for having such a harsh life. Anyone could step on her dignity and life. She had no parents anyways. Although she tricked him too, she was taking the most precious thing she had to compensate him. Was this not enough? Yi Emo saw that Tang Beiwei spat out blood, being angered by him so much, and couldn't bother to look at her. Although she was pitiful, she was more detestable. Yi Emo picked up the phone and called Yi Ling. "Brother, why did you call? I haven't been able to contact you." Yi Ling's crisp voice sounded, making Yi Emo feel relieved. I'll be coming back soon. Has someone been calling you recently to come out?" Yi Emo asked immediately. Yi Ling's voice quickly sounded, "No, what's wrong?" "Good, listen, if I want to find you, I will call you myself. If someone else calls you, don't believe them, do you understand? And my phone won't be shut recently. Call me immediately if something happens," Yi Emo warned. Yi Ling knew that she didn't know about a lot of Yi Emo's things, and worriedly asked, "I understand. Are you all right, brother?" "I'm fine. I need to ask you one thing. Can you tell me more specifically about the bracelet you gave me last time?" Yi Ling didn't know why Yi Emo suddenly asked about this. She hesitated for a moment before saying, "Second brother gave this to you, saying your mother left it behind. I don't know the specifics." Yi Emo hung up the phone in disappointment. He expected this answer, but he was still disappointed. To be honest, he came from a different world, so he didn't really care about the bracelet that much. But today he saw the same bracelet, and that reminded him of this again. Yi Emo walked in front of Tang Beiwei and looked at the blood she spat, as well as her pale face. He suddenly thought, had he been too harsh, "Draw out the place Wei Yongqian told you to bring me to." Then Yi Emo gave Tang Beiwei pen and paper. Tang Beiwei was like a doll and didn't move at all. Yi Emo sneered, "I know, even if you don't say, is it at a distant place? Tricking my sister and I there and then kill us? You're very smart. Do you think these people would let you go after killing us? You're too naive. I don't know what they promised you, but I can surely tell you, stop dreaming." Tang Beiwei's dead eyes seemed to move a little. She looked up subconsciously and numbly said to Yi Emo, "I never wanted to kill you nor harm your sister. Those people just want to take revenge on you. Kill." Tang Beiwei had a jeer on her face but didn't say anything. It was a legal society now. Could they kill easily? Yi Emo was thinking, who wanted to trick him there? The Song family or someone else? The Song family had the guts? Yi Emo sneered. If one didn't kill the snake, he would be harmed by it. Regardless of whether it was the Song family, he needed to go to Beijing and end this. He wasn't afraid of them. But what about the people he cared about? But why did these people choose Tang Beiwei? He took a good look at her face. Although her face was numb and swollen, he saw that she was a girl that was as pretty as Su Jingwen. It was just that she didn't put on any makeup. She didn't even draw her brows. But there was a sense of natural beauty. Yi Emo took back his eyes, thinking these people were really sinister. He didn't know where they found her. But since Yi Ling was fine and he noticed this plan, his anger towards Tang Beiwei was gradually gone. He stood up and looked at Tang Beiwei and said, "Whether you believe it or not, these people tricked me there to kill me, so you owe me. If you still have conscience, then tell me. What did they promise you? And where did your bracelet come from?" Tang Beiwei was sure from Yi Emo's tone that what he said was true. Those people really wanted to kill him. Although Yi Emo was so vicious with his words just then, Tang Beiwei felt Yi Emo was more trustworthy than Wei Yongqian. Perhaps it was because Yi Emo cared about his sister too much. When could she have a brother who cared about her like that? Her sister was really fortunate having a brother that cared about her so much. Then Tang Beiwei thought about herself. She was a wild child. Other than a mother she lived with, no one else cared about her. All the people that tried to get close to her had all sorts of motives. They either lusted after her beauty or had sinister plans. Thinking about this, she couldn't help but shed tears. Although she warned herself again and again that she couldn't shed tears in front of this mean person, even if she died. But she couldn't help the feeling of sadness from sprawling up. Yi Emo didn't force her again. He just coldly stood there, waiting for her to reply. Although he knew Tang Beiwei must have been tricked, he didn't sympathize her at all. Because my mum needs surgery, but I can't afford the money, so… Tang Beiwei didn't continue. Yi Mo had understood and regretted using those vicious words to attack her just then. He should forgive a girl who sold herself for her mother, no matter what the reason. Yi Mo's eyes eased up and his voice was no longer as cold as before. Talk about that bracelet. My words were too serious before, sorry. However, you're so old already. How can you be tricked so easily? Seeing how you're desperate to save your mother, I won't hold it against you. Tang Beiwei looked up at Yi Mo in shock. She seemed to be astonished by Yi Mo's calm temperament. Ever since he knew he was tricked by her, his tone had been getting colder and colder. This was the first time he talked to her with such tone. She felt a sense of being wronged and wanted to cry, but she knew that no matter how she felt wronged, she shouldn't cry in front of strangers again. Tang Beiwei looked up at Yi Mo in shock. She seemed to be astonished by Yi Mo's calm temperament. Ever since he knew he was tricked by her, his tone had been getting colder and colder. This was the first time he talked to her with such tone. She felt a sense of being wronged and wanted to cry, but she knew that no matter how she felt wronged, she shouldn't cry in front of strangers again. Seeing Tang Beiwei cry more and more, Yi Mo frowned but didn't say anything. He was waiting. Although he really wanted to go now, Tang Beiwei still hadn't told him about the bracelet, and he didn't want to just leave like that. After a long while, Tang Beiwei calmed herself down and said, "The bracelet was given to me by my mother when she was really sick. She said I wasn't her biological daughter but was picked up from a temple 20 years ago. The bracelet was left behind before, and my mum said I was one of 2 children left there. Other than my mother, another couple took a child too. We would use these bracelets to recognize each other, so…" Yi Mo was suddenly shocked. If what Tang Beiwei said was real, then wouldn't the other child be him? Was he really picked up from the temple? He thought about the DNA test at the Yi family that was actually real. His face suddenly paled. That meant that Tang Beiwei was his real sister, but Yi Ling wasn't. However, he just made her spit blood. Although his soul wasn't the original Yi Mo, he couldn't avoid the blood on him. Tang Beiwei didn't look up at Yi Mo and said, "Yi Mo, although I wanted to harm you, I didn't get the chance to. Since you don't want me, if you like this bracelet, then take it. Treat it as my compensation. To me, I have no kin other than my mum. After mum leaves, there's no need for me to keep this bracelet." Her voice got quieter until it was almost unhearable. For the first time, Yi Mo regretted what he did and said. Ever since he started cultivation, he had never regretted about anything. This time he truly regretted. It was because Yi Ling was involved that he was so angry and his words became harsh. Although he wasn't completely sure Tang Beiwei was his sister, Yi Mo was now deeply regretful towards his vulgarness. Tang Beiwei looked down in melancholy but didn't notice Yi Mo move at all. She subconsciously looked up at Yi Mo. Yi Mo's face was very pale, perhaps even as pale as her. Tang Beiwei forgot about her situation and forgot about how the man in front of her was so rude to her. Yi Mo took a long sigh and stared at Tang Beiwei for a long while. Tang Beiwei couldn't take Yi Mo's look and looked down again. She didn't know what Yi Mo was going to do to her. She just didn't care anymore. Yi Mo sat down, helped put a jacket on Tang Beiwei, and put his arm around her, bring her to rest on him. Tang Beiwei was shocked. What happened to Yi Mo? He didn't seem to be right. "Sorry, Beiwei, my words were too harsh. I apologize to you." Yi Mo thought Tang Beiwei was living quite a harsh life and felt more uncomfortable. His eyes gradually became cruel. No matter who tricked Tang Beiwei over and harmed her like this, he would scatter their bone dusts everywhere. Then Yi Mo took a sudden shiver. Did that person know they were brothers and sister? If that was the case, this person was too cruel and scary. Luckily, Yi Mo had his principle, and had Luo Ying and Ning Qingshu in his heart. Otherwise, Yi Mo didn't dare to think about the consequences. Yi Mo's eyes grew colder, such malevolent means. If it was really like this, he wouldn't be able to sleep unless this person was dead. There was such an animal in the world. Tang Beiwei felt surprised at Yi Mo saying sorry for the second time. If the first time was casual, then this time, Tang Beiwei truly felt Yi Mo's apology. And he changed to calling her Beiwei. She laid in Yi Mo's arms and had this feeling of not wanting move. If only someone protected her like this all the time, she wouldn't need to be bullied everywhere. Just when Tang Beiwei was thinking, she suddenly felt Yi Mo's body go cold. There was a killing intent from his bones. This made her shiver and suddenly leave Yi Mo, seeing Tang Beiwei look at him in terror. Yi Mo knew he spilt his killing intent. He took it back and took a medical pill and gave it to her. Beiwei, eat this first. I'll help you strengthen your body. Tang Beiwei looked at the pill in surprise and thought for a while but still ate it. She didn't ask why. If Yi Mo was going to do something to her, she would concede her fate. Then Yi Mo took out needles to unblock all the meridians that was blocked due to her extreme sadness. Then he helped her strengthen her body with spirit qi. 2 hours later, he pulled out the needles with sweat all over his forehead. Tang Beiwei also realized her body seemed to be full of power. She was full-spirited and that depressing feeling in her heart was gone. She even felt very light and comfortable. She saw that many impurities had been squeezed out from her pores and seemed to have realized something. Then, she looked at Yi Mo, who sat on the bed, full of sweat, and had a pale face. Although she didn't know what Yi Mo did to her, she knew that Yi Mo used a lot of strength to help her improve her body. Yi Mo opened his eyes and said to Tang Beiwei, "Go take a shower first. I will talk to you later." Although she didn't understand what was happening, she went to take a shower quickly. Yi Mo expended a lot of energy this time. Yi Mo had never helped anyone do this before, even for Ning Qingshu. He did it this time for Tang Beiwei because he felt he owed her. Yi Mo looked at the money he had left in the ring, barely tens of dollars. It seemed he couldn't avoid borrowing money. He didn't ask for Mi Ling because he knew she had no money now too. Tang Beiwei took a shower for almost an hour. When she came out, she had switched clothes, but the shirt was still Yi Mo's. After she took a shower, she seemed to have had a complete makeover. Because Yi Mo cleansed her body and meridians, she had this indescribable, noble temperament on her. When she looked at herself in the mirror, she was also very shocked. She didn't know what Yi Mo did for her, but it must be something amazing. And Yi Mo didn't seem like an ordinary person too. Yi Mo looked at Tang Beiwei and felt satisfied. Other than that sorrow that couldn't be washed away, she was completely different. "What do you want to talk about with me?" Tang Beiwei had regained her composure. She buried the sorrow in her heart deeply. She had decided to go back to Tandu immediately. If her mother really couldn't be cured, she would take her mum away and stay with her. She had done her best. Instead of being harassed everywhere, she might as well go back with her mother. Yi Mo took out a bracelet and said, "I suspect we're brothers and sisters because I also have this bracelet." Tang Beiwei suddenly started to shake. She jumped up abruptly and took the bracelet from Yi Mo's hands and compared it to hers. It was a pair. Her red face became pale once again. Her hands were shaking. Even her entire body was shaking. She didn't expect the kin she was supposed to find was the person torturing her. Before she knew who Yi Mo was, she could endure it. But now that she knew Yi Mo was probably her brother, she was about to collapse. She wanted a brother who loved her and spoiled her, but she couldn't accept it when the reality was in front of her. Tang Beiwei's face grew paler and paler. She suddenly took the bracelet and smashed it towards Yi Mo and dashed out of the door without saying a word. There was a sense of despair flashing across Yi Mo's eyes. From a soul perspective, he didn't have any connections to Tang Beiwei, but this blood relation thing couldn't be severed. Yi Mo chased out. He knew that Tang Beiwei must feel really bad now, but he didn't try to pull here. Perhaps after a while, she would feel better. Tang Beiwei's brain was full of chaos. Yi Mo was actually her brother. She would rather never found her brother than have Yi Mo as her brother. She almost did something unforgivable. If it wasn't that Yi Mo wasn't interested in her, she couldn't even imagine the consequences. Tang Beiwei kept running. She hated Yi Mo. If he had the bracelet, why didn't he take it out earlier? There were so many people in the world. Why did it have to be Yi Mo? Tang Beiwei kept running forward tirelessly as though something ahead could set her free. Her brain was chaotic. She wasn't thinking. Yi Mo followed behind her worriedly. He knew that Tang Beiwei needed to release her feelings, and after she calmed down, she would be able to accept things. Yi Mo stopped. He saw Tang Beiwei go up the elevator. It was a glass elevator. When Yi Mo came, it was already going up. The numb look in her eyes shook Yi Mo's heart. Why did she go up the elevator? Soon, Yi Mo thought, was she going to jump off the building? He suddenly regretted not pulling her and let her run. The elevator was getting smaller and smaller, and Yi Mo scanned Tang Beiwei nervously with a spirit sense. Luckily, this building was only 70 meters tall. That was still in range of his spirit sense. Yi Mo was looking at her thinking if he should go up and bring her down. But suddenly, Tang Beiwei opened the window at the top floor and jumped. Seeing Tang Beiwei jump, he finally felt relieved. He jumped without hesitation, using a spirit chi wall to slow her descent before carrying her just before she landed. Before people could react, he left there. The moment Tang Beiwei jumped, she felt relieved. Everything was going to end. But when she woke up again, she found she was in Yi Mo's arms. She had a fright. Did her brother jump too? Beiwei, you're really dumb. Why did you jump? If I couldn't catch you, I wouldn't forgive myself. Yi Mo's tone was a little sad. He didn't know who was right and who was wrong. Tang Beiwei finally understood that Yi Mo caught her. That depression in her heart finally disappeared. The endless feeling of being wronged rushed up her heart, and she finally couldn't resist it anymore. She hugged Yi Mo and cried out. Yi Mo could understand how Tang Beiwei was feeling. A girl who was bullied and helpless faced huge pressure, but couldn't find any help. She even had to do things against her conscience, but at last found her kin and thought that she almost did something unforgivable. Yi Mo could understand how Tang Beiwei was feeling. A girl who was bullied and helpless faced huge pressure, but couldn't find any help. She even had to do things against her conscience, but at last found her kin and thought that she almost did something unforgivable. He put Tang Beiwei down and stayed silent for a while before saying, "We both didn't know at the time. Plus, even now, we can't be sure if we're related for sure. After all, we can't just tell by a bracelet, so don't worry. Even if we're really siblings, we don't need to worry even more, right?" Although Tang Beiwei had calmed down now, Yi Mo still comforted her. Tang Beiwei stopped and looked at Yi Mo. "Brother Yi, do you want to do a DNA test with me?" She didn't know what to call Yi Mo. She felt brother was too sudden, but Yi Mo wasn't suitable either. Yi Mo smiled. "No need, I don't like that. Real or fake, you will be my sister from now on. I will treat you just like Yiling. No matter what happens, just come find me. Remember, I'm your brother." "Brother?" Tang Beiwei seemed a little lost as she wiped her eyes. She wanted to say something, but eventually didn't. Was her prayer finally heard by the heavens, and did she finally get a big brother? Yi Mo said he didn't want to do DNA check, but she felt a little lost. She didn't know whether to listen to him or not. Yi Mo waved his hand and said, "I was planning to go Wuliang Mountain a few days later, but since these people keep testing me, if I don't do something, they'll think I'm scared of them. Beiwei, you don't need to go anywhere. Follow me and wait till I treat your mother. You know how to treat illness." Tang Beiwei looked at Yi Mo in surprise. She remembered Yi Mo using acupuncture in the morning. Before Yi Mo replied, a voice interrupted them. "Didn't think I could meet you here. This is such a coincidence. Master, it's my luck. A Porsche stopped in front of Emo. As the word sounded, a youth jumped out of the car. Emo had seen this person before. It was the one who wanted to race him when he was with Jingxi. This youth came and shook Emo's hands. "I'm Chao Gang. I saw your car skills that day, and I'm really amazed. Is this your girlfriend? She's really pretty." Chao Gang was very lively. Before Emo even spoke, he already treated Emo as a racing friend. Emo laughed and said, "I'm Emo. This is my sister Tang Beiwei. Pleasure to meet you." Chao Gang had this understanding look. His sister didn't have the same last name as him. Who would believe you? The sister nowadays were the sisters being F***ed. Hearing Emo say that, he also laughed. "So that's it. I'm Brother Yi. I've been trying to find you last time seeing your car skills. I just heard your car went into Yuan, but I really didn't expect to see you here. I'm so lucky. I don't have much hobbies, but I love cars. If you brother don't mind, I wish to invite you to food and talk about car skills." Emo smiled and said, "That's fine, but I don't have time now. I still have important things to do. So let's talk about it next time." If it was a normal person, they would have realized that Emo was not interested. But Chao Gang just phased and said, "No problem. I'm a little famous around here. If you need any help, just ask me because I might need your help soon. This is my name card." Chao Gang passed it to Emo and rubbed his hands. Obviously, he was a little awkward about finding Emo for help. Although he was very energetic and social, it was the first time they met properly. Much less Emo didn't really want to talk to him. His words were quite unsuitable, but he had seen Emo's car skills. As long as Emo got in the car, he wouldn't be able to chase up to him at all. Although he didn't know Emo well, he knew he wasn't someone to be shocked by status and money. If that was possible, Emo wouldn't have ignored him last time and drove off. After all, not much people drove limited edition cars like him. As such, in order to be friends with someone like Emo, he needed to lower himself and treat him as equal. Emo took the name card and looked. He knew that this person wasn't as straightforward as he appeared. This person knew this was the best way to communicate with him. This Chao Gang wasn't an impulsive person, but was quite cunning. He knew how to observe and even knew the best means to communicate with people. This was a little interesting, but Emo didn't detest it. Perhaps he really liked cars and wanted to find someone to help him race. "No need for help. I'm just missing some money, and I'm going back to get some money. If I'm free, I will call you." Emo said that intentionally. He wanted to see how much of a help this Chao Gang could give him. If it could solve his money difficulties, he didn't mind help Chao Gang. However, if he was going to be stingy on this, then never mind. Hearing this, Chao Gang's face was immediately filled with smile. "Brother Yi, although it's not something to brag about, but I have some money to spend. How much do you need, Brother Yi?" Emo nodded and casually said, "I wonder what you would like me to help with." Chao Gang saw that his plan was seen through and rubbed his hands awkwardly. "There's a race at the end of next month. It's very important to me, but I know with my skills I'm not likely to win if—" Emo already knew what it was. He waved his hand and asked, "What's the largest prize?" "The prize is only a little less than 1,000,000, but we all don't care about the prize money. Instead, something else is awarded with the prize money. Other than this, there are also some conflicts in interest, but—" Chao Gang was stuttering. Obviously, some things weren't good to make clear. Emo waved his hand and said, "Okay, I'll agree to help you get this first. I'm not interested in other things. I need 500K now. I will contact you by the end of the month." Hearing Emo's words, Chao Gang's face was full of joy and surprise. He quickly stuffed a card in Emo's hands. "Password is all 8. There's around 600K in there. I'll be waiting for your call." Then, before Emo could talk, he didn't even ask for Emo's contact number and just went in the car. A rumble echoed out, and the car soon disappeared. Chao Gang clearly saw Emo's car skills. The latter could use a normal Audi to leave his Porsche in the dust. This wasn't something normal people could do. Yi Emo shook his head, thinking this Chow Gang is really interesting. It was obvious that Chow Gang was very rich. He didn't really care about that few hundred thousands, and he wouldn't worry that Yi Emo would go back on his words for that amount. Chow Gang was afraid he would regret his actions, so he quickly drove away, decisively and astutely. Tang Beiwei looked at Yi Emo in a daze and said after a while, "Brother, you know this person?" Then she just realized that her brother sounded so natural. Yi Emo shook his head. "I don't know him." "Don't know? Then why did he give so much money to you? And these people are usually powerful if we annoy him. Plus, racing is dangerous and... Before Tang Beiwei finished, Yi Emo already knew what she was thinking. Tang Beiwei was living at the bottom and was scared of these young masters the most. Yi Emo caressed her head pitifully and said, "It's okay if I'm not in need of money shortly. I wouldn't care about a few 100,000. Let's go eat first and talk later." Tang Beiwei helplessly shook her head. She worked so hard for 200K and was about to sell everything she had. But her brother just said one sentence and got 600K from someone he didn't even know. After eating with Tang Beiwei, he took out 200K to buy 1,000 sets of materials before helping Tang Beiwei buy some clothes. Then he gave the remaining 300K to her. "I don't need money. I just want to go back and save my mother." Tang Beiwei rejected. Yi Emo stashed the card on her hand again and said, "You also saw that it's very easy for me to earn money, so take these first. Wait till tomorrow and call Wei Yongqian. Just do according to the original plan." Tang Beiwei hesitantly took the card and said, "Brother, since you already know he's trying to harm you, why are you still taking the bait?" Yi Emo sneered and said to Tang Beiwei, "I know he's plotting against me. That's why I'm going. Don't worry." Yi Emo and Tang Beiwei went back to the hotel, but saw police out there investigating. He immediately knew that Wang Xianxian's incident was probably being investigated right now. He immediately called Xiao Gang. Although he didn't know who he was, a small thing like this shouldn't be hard for him. As soon as Xiao Gang picked up Yi Mo's call, he was very happy. To him, this was Yi Emo telling him how to contact him indirectly. He quickly told Yi Emo not to worry, and no one would come investigate him. He didn't know that only permitted numbers could reach Yi Mo's phone. Other people wouldn't be able to reach it, since his phone was a custom-made one given to him by Han Zixin. As soon as Xiao Gang picked up Yi Mo's call, he was very happy. To him, this was Yi Emo telling him how to contact him indirectly. He quickly told Yi Emo not to worry, and no one would come investigate him. He didn't know that only permitted numbers could reach Yi Mo's phone. Other people wouldn't be able to reach it, since his phone was a custom-made one given to him by Han Zixin. Yi Emo put down the phone and sighed. It was so easy with connections. As soon as he hung up, his phone sounded again. It was Yi Ling. Yi Ling's voice was anxious. Yi Emo told her to be careful in the morning, and now there was someone calling her to go Wuliang Mountain, saying Yi Emo was waiting for her there. Yi Emo was angry and told Yi Ling to say she wouldn't be able to leave now and needed a few days if she received this call again. Then he told her to not go places, even the school, and just stay at the Yi family mansion. Then he called Zhang Ju. "Instructor, I thought you were ditching us. You haven't contacted us for so long." Zhang Ju's voice was welcoming. He was very happy about Yi Mo's call. Yi Emo knew Zhang Ju thought of him as a real friend and felt warm at heart, but he seriously said, "Please help look after my sister these few days, and tell Li Hu about the Song family, and ask him to find a few people to keep eyes on them. If there's something, call me immediately." "Don't worry, instructor, leave it to me," Zhang Ju's affirmative voice sounded. Yi Emo felt slightly relieved and then said, "Brother Zhang, stop calling me instructor. If you think we're friends, then just call me Yi Emo. Haha. Okay, I'll call you young master Emo from now." Zhang Ju knew Yi Emo was treating him as a brother now and felt even happier. Yemo then called Li Hu. Although he already asked Zhang Ju, he was still afraid something would happen to Yi Ling Tang Beiwei, looked at Yemo, make all those calls, and quietly said after half a beat, "Is Yi Ling your sister? You're really nice to her." She thought of Yi Mo being very harsh to her due to Yi Ling and felt sour. Yi Mo looked at Tang Beiwei and subconsciously smiled while patting her head. "You're also my sister. I will treat you the same. Stop feeling bad over what happened in the morning. That is the first and last time." Just when she was about to tell Yi Mo not to always pat her head, she was a little lost in thought. She finally had a big brother too. She wouldn't need to live like before and be harassed everywhere. Thinking about this, her eyes got red. Everything was like a dream. Was this really a dream? She inched her arm and felt pain. It shouldn't be a dream. "Let's go. What are you thinking about? Let's go in first." Yi Mo pulled. "Now that we have money, I'll open another room." Tang Beiwei came to her senses. Yi Mo waved his hand. "No need. You are still staying with me tonight." Huh. Tang Beiwei looked at Yi Mo in shock. They didn't know they were siblings yesterday, but now that they did, how can they still live together? Yi Mo pulled Tang Beiwei in, and when there was no one, he said, "If you changed room tonight, people would know immediately and my plan will fail." "Oh." Tang Beiwei understood, but still worriedly said, "Brother, they have a lot of people and their plan is precise. You're just by yourself." Yi Mo had decided to have carnage. It wasn't suitable to bring Tang Beiwei. "No, I want to go as well. Although I'm a girl, I still know a few moves." "I can help you." Tang Beiwei rejected. Yi Mo closed the door and felt warm. Kins were kins indeed. She was still plotting against him yesterday, but now she was risking her life to help him. However, he wouldn't allow Tang Beiwei to go with him, no matter what. Yi Mo knew that since these people had made up their mind, they were sure they could keep him. It meant that they spent a lot of effort, and if Tang Beiwei went, he wouldn't be able to take care of her. "Beiwei, do you think other people could catch you when you fall from tens of meters high?" Yi Mo didn't try to persuade her, but used fact to ask. Tang Beiwei phased. Indeed, she still didn't remember how she was caught falling from that high. Anyone wouldn't be able to catch her? She looked at Yi Mo, full of inquisition. Yi Mo told her straight up, because Tang Beiwei was his sister. "Because I've learnt some Tao magic." Tang Beiwei was more and more confused. She was taught atheism from school, so how did Tao magic come out? Yi Mo knew it would only get more confusing the more he tried to explain, so he could only say, "You don't need to know about it for now. You will understand in the future. Call Wei Yongqian first and tell him you have succeeded. Ask him what to do next. I need to make some things. Don't disturb me for now." Although Tang Beiwei didn't know what that Tao magic was, but she wasn't dumb. No normal person could catch someone falling from tens of meters high. Perhaps she would be a burden to Yi Mo if she really went. Yi Mo helped Tang Beiwei make a defensive necklace and started to make more charms. Because he had a lot of materials, Yi Mo didn't need to worry about wasting material. At 5 p.m., he had made 10 from 30 sets of materials. When Yi Mo stood up, Tang Beiwei was already waiting for him with 2 boxes of food. Beijing Song family. Dongfang Shi, Song Qiming, and Song Hai were still discussing things in a secret room. Other than Dongfang Shi, who was calm, both Song Qiming and Song Hai were worried. Yi Ling said she isn't free tomorrow nor the day after. What is this? "Mr. Dongfang, didn't you say Yi Ling would go as soon as she got news of Yi Mo?" Song Qiming worriedly said. Song Hai interrupted. Could Yi Ling have reached Yi Mo and knew that Yi Mo didn't call her? Dongfang, she was calm and said, "Don't worry about that. Yi Mo's phone is always off. No one can reach him. I've done my investigation." Song Hai suddenly said, "How about we try calling him?" Dongfan, she shook his head. "No need. When Yi Ling said she wasn't free, I already tried Yi Mo's phone. It can't be reached indeed. We don't need to doubt this. Plus, even if Yiling didn't go, our plan would prevail. How does that work? Song Qiming asked desperately. Dongfang, she shook his head and said, You will know when the time is right. Tang Beiwei just called and told me that she had succeeded and asked us what to do next. I've decided to make the plan to tonight. Song Hai said with confusion. Mr. Dongfang, why bring it forward? Didn't we say tomorrow morning? Dongfang, she waved his hand and said, There's already people guarding outside the auction today, so I was just waiting for Yiling to go. However, since she can't and said she didn't have time, we need to be more careful no matter what. Other than Yiling, everyone else is in position. As such, in order to prevent more accidents, we will move tonight. The main thing is Dongfang, she succeeded. Seeing Song Qiming and Song Hai look at him in confusion, Dongfang, she sneered. Song family leader, you just need to watch the show. I promise you will get revenge in the most satisfying way. Song Hai and I can go to Wuliang Mountain immediately. I will let Emo know the consequences of troubling me. Then Dongfang, she looked at Song Qiming but was full of contempt. When this guy first heard about Tang Jin, he immediately acted as though he cared a lot. People would have thought he was coerced all those years ago, but it had been a few days now and he seemed to have forgotten about it. He didn't even ask about Dongfang Shi. It could be seen he was a hypocrite, but this was best. Hearing Dongfang Shi's words, Song Qiming was immediately excited. He couldn't wait to see how Dongfang Shi was going to torture Yemo. However, he was also scared at the same time. It was too scary getting into enmity with this person. If it wasn't because his status was sensitive, even he wanted to see Mo's face of despair. After food, Tang Beiwei packed things up and said, Brother, you didn't sleep last night. I'll sleep on the couch tonight, so you can get some good rest. Yemo waved his hand. No need. I have important business tonight. You sleep at night. Don't worry about me. Just when Tang Beiwei wanted to say something, her phone rang. She picked it up, then looked at Yemo and said, Brother, it's that Wei Yongqian. I called him in the afternoon, and now he's calling me. Yemo immediately said, Answer it first. No matter what he says, agree. Tang Beiwei nodded and accepted the call. Yemo walked beside her. Xiaotang, a change of plan, the hirer wants to go tonight, so you need to bring Yemo to that place tonight. Tomorrow, you can go back to Tandu and stay with your mother. You don't need to worry about everything else. Wei Yongqian's voice sounded. Dongfan, she replied. Okay, I will take him there immediately. MHM, I know what to do. Yemo took out the defensive necklace and gave it to Tang Beiwei. Put this on you. After I go, close the windows shut and don't open the door until I come back. Yemo took out the defensive necklace and gave it to Tang Beiwei. Put this on you. After I go, close the windows shut and don't open the door until I come back. Since these people plotted to harm him, he couldn't be sure if they would harm Tang Beiwei too. It's such a pretty necklace, brother. Is this for me? Tang Beiwei loved the exquisite necklace. She never had any jewelry. This was her first. Yemo was a little guilty. Tang Beiwei didn't even have a proper jewelry on her and used an old second-hand phone. He knew she had been living a hard life these recent years, but he didn't want to say. He just noted that he needed to care about this sister more. Thinking about this, Yemo said, You mustn't take this off. These are some charms I made. If someone comes in, just throw these at them. When you throw it out, you need to say Lin. Tang Beiwei looked at 10 palm-sized charms that Yemo passed over and dazed for a while. Did her brother spend the entire afternoon making these? Was this the Tao magic, he said. Seeing Tang Beiwei's confusion, Yemo immediately said, This is a fireball charm, remember. Throw it out and it will form a fireball to engulf the person. Don't try it casually. Brother, this... Tang Beiwei didn't know what to say. Yemo waved his hand and said, You just need to remember my words. I don't even have time to love you. How can I harm you? After I leave, you must wait till I come back. Yemo repeatedly warned her, and Tang Beiwei also nodded seriously. She knew that she was wrong before. That Wei Yongqian definitely didn't just want to teach her brother a lesson. He really wanted to kill. She also understood that if they just wanted to teach her brother a lesson, they wouldn't spend this much money. Yi Emma walked out of the room and closed the door. He knew these people were very sly and evil, so he didn't want Tang Beiwei to be in danger. He searched with his spirit sense carefully and was sure that the monitoring people were quite far from here. But even so, he still used invisibility to leave the hotel. After walking out a long while, he then called a taxi towards the location Tang Beiwei told him. The reason he used invisibility was because he was afraid people would see only he came out. He needed to kill all of them before they had time to react. In fact, it would be best to take Tang Beiwei with him. But Yi Mo was afraid the enemy would be too strong, and he didn't want Tang Beiwei to see him kill people. Wulian Mountain was a sacred place for Buddhists, and Wulian Mountain's Xishuang Temple was much bigger than many sacred temples. However, barely a few people knew about it. The reason was simple: it wasn't open to tourists and was hidden in the dangerous ranges of the mountain. The temple itself wasn't dangerous, but the location was. There was a big canyon before one could enter the temple, and in that canyon there was a deep, bottomless cliff. It could be said that it was the biggest obstacle to getting to the temple. But at this moment, there were no one stopping people from entering the temple because the biggest auction of the hidden sects was about to be held here, and this cliff had been connected by a huge metal chain bridge. No one knew how it was connected, however. At this moment, Dongfang Shi and 2 yellow level masters were hiding in a discreet location in the canyon, waiting for Yi Mo's arrival. Meanwhile, Song Hai and a few Song family yellow level warriors, as well as Li Mingqiang, were waiting at the 2 sides of the canyon. They were waiting for Tang Beiwei to bring Yi Mo into that metal chain bridge and come back. If they couldn't, it meant that they already died. Other than Dongfang Shi and Li Mingqiang, other people were very focused. Dongfang Shi wasn't worried because he was confident. Li Mingqiang, on the other hand, was a black-level tertiary stage master. He didn't care about a mirror. Yi Mo Song Hai opened his phone and checked before saying to Dongfang Shi, "Mr. Dongfang, a car is driving over here. It should be Yi Mo and Tang Beiwei." But strangely, the people I stationed around the hotel didn't see the 2 leave. I don't know how they got on the car. Dongfang Shi's heart suddenly jumped. He thought of the 2 town outside the desert and how Yi Mo could be invisible. He started getting a bad feeling, but his face didn't show it at all. Song Hai, the quality of your people needs improvement. Song Hai nodded and said, "I'm just afraid Yi Mo doesn't have a life to come back after entering the metal bridge. In that case, although we got our revenge, it will not be very satisfying." Dongfang Shi nodded. "Brother Song doesn't need to worry. This will definitely be a satisfying revenge. But you're right, after all, the 2 guarding there are too strong. It wouldn't be good if they beat him to death. I need to go communicate inside. The reason we can stay here was because I told them. Now I'll go tell them to leave Yi Mo one last breath. It should be fine." Then Dongfang Shi ordered the 2 next to him to listen to Song Hai. Then he said to Song Hai, "I'll be very quick. You take command here for now." Although Song Hai guessed Dongfang Shi was connected to the 2 from the hidden sects, he didn't think he could actually talk to them directly. He quite admired this and said, "Thank you, Mr. Dongfang. Leave this place to me." Dongfang Shi left as soon as he spoke and was headed towards the metal chain bridge, but soon he twisted and his body was blocked by trees. Dongfang Shi ran out a few hundred meters before hiding behind a rock and called, "What's the matter? Why is there no report after the target has come out?" Dongfang Shi's voice was worried. "Advisor, we've been using the telescope to monitor the door of the hotel constantly. We didn't see any target." Soon his men reported. Dongfang Shi knew things wasn't good. There must have been a mistake, but theoretically his plan shouldn't have been exposed. What was this? Even Song Qiming didn't know about this, so it was pure coincidence that he knew about Tang Beiwei and Yi Mo. However, how did Yi Mo know? Immediately send a few people into the target's room. If she's by herself, take her away immediately and leave Yu Yuan to the next location before contacting me. Dongfang, she was very decisive. He didn't know which part of the plan failed, but since no one saw Yi Mo at the hotel, it meant he was suspicious or knew about the plan. That's why he hid. Regardless of whether the plan was a success or failure, he needed to run. He would call his men later. If both of them left the hotel, then he would make his next decision. If it was only Tang Beiwei, then the plan has failed for sure. After Yi Mo left, Tang Beiwei casually put the fireball charms on the table and took off that necklace playing with it, as though she couldn't let go of it. Although never had any jewelry, she had seen many of the celebrities' jewelry on TV and seen it at the shopping malls. She had never seen a jewelry prettier than the one her brother gave her. The pearls emitted a faint glow and rendered a sense of serenity. It was really pretty. What happened today was like a dream, and she wasn't completely awake now. She had a brother who was very nice to her, but when he didn't know she was his sister, he was really mean and scary. Was Yi Mo really her brother? He really had a lot of secrets. She saw him take things out from him, but his clothes were really thin, so where did he leave things? And he bought so many materials today, but she didn't know where he put them. Suddenly, there was a banging on the door. Tang Beiwei was shocked. His brother said he would call her if he was going to come in. Who was knocking now? Tang Beiwei immediately thought of Yi Mo's words and put the necklace on her and picked up the 10 charms and stared worriedly at the door. There was another fit of knocking. Tang Beiwei summoned the courage, walked beside the door and asked, "Who is outside?" She didn't expect the knocking to suddenly stop after she asked. She immediately began to worry. Brother wasn't here. Was the charms he gave her effective? Although Dongfang, she thought he probably was thinking too much. He would never take a risk on any small possibility. Last time at Saina, if he wasn't quick, he would have been dead already. So regardless if Yi Mo fell for it, he would retreat decisively. He had no business there regardless. Dongfang, she took out the vibrating phone and answered the call. His men's report shocked him. He was only guessing, but he didn't really expect Tang Beiwei to be still at the hotel. Dongfang, she sweated and immediately told his men to take her away and wait for his call. Then he turned off his phone and ran for his life towards the outside. He didn't dare to meet up with his men at the hotel. He didn't believe Yi Mo would leave Tang Beiwei there after knowing his plan. He must have measures. The more he ran, the more he regretted. From now on, no matter what he did, he wouldn't come personally again. Although it was satisfying telling Yi Mo the truth in front of Yi Mo and watch him die in rage, nothing was more important than his life. Another bang, and the door was kicked open. A waitress who wanted to stop them was kicked away by the man outside and couldn't get up. Another bang, and the door was kicked open. A waitress who wanted to stop them was kicked away by the man outside and couldn't get up. Tang Beiwei saw the 3 men charge in and charged towards her the moment they entered. Tang Beiwei's heart shook and took many steps back. The man in front had grabbed towards her. Obviously, he didn't see Tang Beiwei as a threat at all. To him, Tang Beiwei was just a goat ready to be slaughtered. Tang Beiwei, in a fit of worry, threw a few charms at the man and yelled Lin repeatedly. Rumble! A ball of fire engulfed the man, but soon the flame disappeared and there was just a small pile of ash flying around. Tang Beiwei was shocked and couldn't react at all. What was this? She didn't even feel any heat from that ball of flame, but the man who was surrounded by it disappeared. This was too strange. Was that fireball charm that strong? Wasn't this immortal magic? Who was her brother? She subconsciously looked at the remaining few charms in her hands. The 2 men behind stopped and looked at the flying ashes in shock. Their minds froze. Burning a person to ash? How could this be? However, they already saw it with their own eyes, so how could it be fake? The 2 came to their senses after many seconds and looked at the runes in her hands, not daring to take a step forward. They turned to run. Until they disappeared, Tang Beiwei finally realized that the fireballs were real and also scarily strong. That temperature was enough to turn people to ash in an instant. Tang Beiwei looked at the door that was kicked to pieces and knew there was no point staying here anymore. She immediately left the hotel and looked at the 7 remaining charms in her hands, thinking that with that, she could go help Yi Mo. She quickly called a taxi to where Yi Mo was going. The scene wasn't bloody before, so Tang Beiwei didn't think much of it, but now that she sat on the car and thought a person burnt to ash, she couldn't help but to feel disgusted. "Are you car sick?" the driver asked. "I'm a bit." Tang Beiwei made the driver stop as she vomited. Yi Mo got off the car when it couldn't go further. He then went into the forest from the side of the path Tang Beiwei pointed. Yi Mo's speed was very fast, the same as a car. It was just half an hour, and he saw a long canyon just like Tang Beiwei said. Yi Mo entered immediately and spread out his spirit sense at the same time. Song Hai, from a distance, saw one person entering the canyon. He felt something was wrong and looked at Li Mingqiang and said, "Why is there only one person? Did he notice something so he came by himself? You two go ahead and see." Song Hai's last sentence was to the 2 men Dongfang she brought. After the 2 men left, Li Mingqiang sneered. "I knew that Dongfang, she wasn't reliable. I would believe the hidden sect people would let him set up ambush here, but I don't believe he can talk to them directly." Song Hai suddenly stood up. "Predecessorly, I think this thing may really be what you said. What should we do now?" Li Mingqiang sneered. "I don't believe that Yi Mo has 3 heads and 6 arms. Regardless of whether he dares to step on the metal chain bridge, I won't be afraid of him. Without Dongfang Shi, can I not avenge my disciple? There's only 8 people. This is disappointing. If you want to take your revenge, then come." As soon as Li Mingqiang spoke, Yi Mo's voice sounded out. Song Hai's face immediately became pale. He didn't think Yi Mo could find them and not go onto the metal chain bridge first. They were hiding on the side of the canyon, so how did Yi Mo find them? But soon he reacted and said, "Surround him, predecessorly, keep him there, and the rest attack him together." The reason Song Hai said this was because he knew if he ordered to retreat, he would be the first to die. The rest of the people were all much stronger than him. Everyone surrounded Yi Mo. Yi Mo looked at Song Hai, who was slowly retreating, and sneered. "If you dare to take half a step back, I will kill you first." Song Hai stopped his steps. He didn't know why, but he didn't dare to retreat a bit at all. "Tell me your names." Yi Mo scanned them. His tone was cold. Li Mingqiang sneered and said, "I'm Li Mingqiang, little bastard. Just because you learnt some martial arts, you dare to be so cocky and kill my disciple Huqiu. I will sacrifice your head to him. You will pay for your insolence." Yi Mo's eyes immediately went cold. Li Mingqiang was Huqiu's master, so he immediately knew it was the Song family. His guess was right. The Song family was really bold. Not only bold, they even thought of such an evil way of revenge. In Yi Mo's heart now, the Song family was already a pile of dead bones. In that case, Yi Mo casually took out Bien Po's long sword and slashed towards them. He also learnt this from Bien Pa. If Bien Pa knew that not only was his weapon taken by Yi Mo, but so was his moves after his death, would he crawl out from the ground and cry? Other than Li Mingqiang noticing Yi Mo suddenly had a sword in his hand, no one else saw the sword. They only saw a ray of white light. Li Mingqiang was also dazed a bit. He clearly saw Yi Mo was barehanded, so how did he suddenly have a long sword? PSH! There were blood-spilling sound everywhere. Song Hai realized the 4 yellow-level warriors had become bodies under Yi Mo's sword light. They couldn't even defend themselves. Although Yi Mo's attack was a sudden one, he still killed 4 with it. This scared Song Hai so much that his legs started to shake. He really didn't expect Yi Mo to be this strong. It seemed Dongfang she didn't overestimate him, but instead underestimated him. Song Hai wanted to escape, but his legs shook so much that he couldn't even walk. Li Mingqiang saw Yi Mo kill, for with one slash, and knew he underestimated Yi Mo. He was definitely stronger than him. Thinking about this, he didn't dare to drift off with his mind. He took out the whip from his waist and surrounded Yi Mo with the other 2 yellow-level peak stage fighters. Li Mingqiang's whip shook, becoming a series of whip shadows surrounding Yi Mo. The 2 yellow-level masters behind Yi Mo also attacked Yi Mo with their curved swords without hesitation. Although Li Mingqiang's whip was countless grades better than that Hu Qiu, it was still a far cry from Daoxian. Yi Mo didn't even use wind blade and just brought up his sword. Strike, 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 he slashed out many times. His chi was plenty and had a long sword in his hand, so it was so much easier than when he fought Daoxian. Li Mingqiang actually blocked 6 strikes from Yi Mo before there was the sound of his whip breaking. Yi Mo then broke another curved sword, slicing one of the men Dongfang she brought in half. Fresh blood spewed out, and Yi Mo took a few steps back to prevent the blood from dripping on his body. Seeing this bloody scene, Song Hai's leg curved. He couldn't resist anymore and vomited. He had killed people and interrogated people, but he had never seen such a bloody scene. Luckily, Yi Mo didn't bring Tang Beiwei here. He stared coldly at Li Mingqiang, who was a little stunned. There was full of coldness and killing intent in his eyes. Li Mingqiang looked at the half of a whip he had in his hands. He didn't have the composure he had initially. Although Yi Mo killed 4 yellow levels at the start, he felt he could also barely do it. But now he felt he couldn't defeat Yi Mo at all. This Yi Mo was too strong, and Li Mingqiang felt regret for the first time. When Yi Mo killed the first 4, he sliced his sword across their throat, and the scene wasn't so bloody, but now one was cut in half by him. The remaining yellow level master looked at his bloodied companion with a pale face. After half a beat, he suddenly threw away his curved sword and turned to run. Yi Mo didn't even look and just casually swiped a wind blade at him. The man's legs were immediately sliced off and convulsed non-stop on the ground. "If you can let me go, Li Mingqiang was scared. He had never seen someone as strong as Yi Mo. He had lost the will to fight. Yi Mo sneered, no matter how Li Mingqiang begged for mercy. He never planned on letting them go. Before Li Mingqiang finished his sentence, Yi Mo's sword sliced again, and Li Mingqiang's voice suddenly stopped. He was decapitated. The yellow level fighter who had his legs cut off kept convulsing. He looked up and saw Yi Mo cut off Li Mingqiang's head. Under such great fear, he actually took out his knife and stabbed it into his heart. The yellow level fighter who had his legs cut off kept convulsing. He looked up and saw Yi Mo cut off Li Mingqiang's head. Under such great fear, he actually took out his knife and stabbed it into his heart. Yi Mo didn't bother with him and just stared coldly at Song Hai as he walked slowly towards him. Song Hai's face became bloodless. He was full of regrets. He regretted coming with Dongfang Shi. He even regretted not persuading the leader to not mess with Yi Mo, but now it was all over. Yi Mo wasn't a person, he was a demon. Looking at the bloodied scene, he couldn't resist the waves of shock in his heart. Just how many people has he killed? "Don't kill me, I'll tell you everything." Seeing Yi Mo walk over, Song Hai's tone was of extreme terror. If he had another option, he would rather leave the Song family and hide than to go against Yi Mo. "No need. I will make you speak the truth." Then, Yi Mo tapped on Song Hai's forehead. Song Hai's manner immediately became soulless and dumb. Then Yi Mo coldly said, "Tell me everything about the Song family's plan." "Yes." Song Hai didn't struggle at all. After the taxi drove to the foot of Wuliang Mountain and a bit in, no matter how Tang Beiwei requested, the taxi driver wasn't willing to drive 1 meter further. Tang Beiwei knew that the driver was probably scared since it was night, but luckily it was probably about half an hour walk ahead. Tang Beiwei didn't force the driver, got off the car, and ran into the mountains. The driver didn't know what a girl was doing this late in a barren place like the Wuliang Mountain, but this wasn't something he could be concerned with. He quickly turned around and left with his greatest speed. 40 minutes later, Tang Beiwei came up from the mountain roads, breathing heavily. She went into the side of the forest. After running into the forest, the silence of the night made her scared. The feral cats and nocturnal birds' cries scared her. She didn't dare to stay and walked faster and faster. However, she didn't have Emo's capabilities and fell over many times after only walking a few hundred meters. Crack! There was the sound of a branch breaking. Tang Beiwei stopped subconsciously. Under the faint moonlight, a black shadow ran over. Tang Beiwei's skin was tingling. There was a black shadow in the forest at night. She was so scared she didn't dare to move. But the black shadow stopped 5 or 6 meters in front of her. It was a humanoid figure, very skinny and had a goatee. He seemed very out of shape. There was someone up there this late. However, she looked on the ground and saw a shadow. Since there was a shadow, it meant it was a person, not a ghost. Tang Beiwei calmed down a little and stared at the shadow but didn't talk. Dongfang, she was about to reach the mountain roads, but he actually saw a girl this late in the woods. He was indeed frightened quite a bit when he saw Tang Beiwei, but he immediately recognized her. It was Tang Beiwei. Dongfang, she rejoiced. Yemo, that bastard, almost made him die. He finally ran and survived. Today, he was finally able to take something back. Even though Tang Beiwei was a woman, her ability to make it here from the hotel meant that she had a few tricks. Dongfang, she wouldn't be careless facing against someone like her. He didn't even think and pulled out the gun and fired twice at her. He didn't want to kill her immediately. He will torture her to death and let Emo know what happened to her. Tang Beiwei saw Dongfang and took a breath of relief upon realizing he wasn't a ghost. She was confused why this person was running in the mountains this late at night. But suddenly, Dongfang, she fired twice at her. Tang Beiwei didn't even have time to react and saw a faint yellow barrier erect in front of her. But immediately the barrier broke. Just when Tang Beiwei wanted to see what happened, there was another barrier. 5 or 6 broke before 2 bullets fell in front of her. Tang Beiwei finally realized at this moment that the person opened fire. She didn't have time to think how the bullet didn't hit her. She just subconsciously grabbed a rock from the ground and threw it. Dongfang, she fired twice and knew Tang Beiwei was meat in his hands, but he didn't expect the 2 shots to miss. When he reacted, Tang Beiwei's stone was coming over. Smash! It hit right on Dongfang's face. Dongfang, she clearly heard his nose break. His eyes were blurred as he raised his gun and fired again while covering his face with his hand. The 3rd shot didn't affect Tang Beiwei at all. However, Tang Beiwei thought of the light before, and it came from her necklace. She looked down and saw the glow was dimmer. It wasn't as pretty as when Emo gave it to her. Tang Beiwei was extremely angry and threw another 2 rocks at Dongfang. At this moment, she had completely forgotten she had fireball charms. She was just angry this man broke her necklace. One hit his forehead and another hit his arm. Dongfang, she yelled and felt viscous blood flow down. The hand holding the gun was hit and the gun flew onto the ground uncontrollably. Tang Beiwei looked at Dongfang, who squatted on the ground and kicked onto his head. The skinny Dongfang, she was kicked over and struggled to get up. Tang Beiwei picked up the gun and now remembered she had fireball charms. She took out one but shook her head. If she used that, this guy was already a goner. As such, she didn't use one and just beat him down. This way, she managed to save a fireball charm. She felt her necklace again. Tang Beiwei's heart was bleeding. Her brother finally gave her a good necklace, and it was ruined like this by the bastard. So brother's necklace could protect her, otherwise. Tang Beiwei thought of the 2 gunshots and didn't dare to think the consequences. This guy was too bad. She must not let him go. She didn't even know him and he was going to kill her. Tang Beiwei picked up the gun and aimed it at Dongfang, she ready to fire. Tang Beiwei never shot a gun before, but she knew it was easy. She only had to pull the trigger. Bang! Tang Beiwei realized her shot went wide. At this moment, Dongfang, she flipped over and sat up. He also woke up under the gunfire and looked at the pistol in her hands. There was terror in his eyes, and he quickly said, "Girl, don't fire. I didn't see clearly just then. I thought it was something else, so I fired." That was a misunderstanding, a complete misunderstanding. Think about it. How would I know there was people here this late at night? Tang Beiwei frowned. Did he really not see it? Seeing Tang Beiwei frown and her gun was slanting down, Dongfang, she felt relieved and quickly said, "It really is a misunderstanding. I'm lost and have been going around the mountain in circles. May I ask how to get out of here?" Tang Beiwei looked at Dongfang's eyes. It was calm and he didn't seem to be lying. However, who would be out here this late at night? This was quite strange. Tang Beiwei suddenly remembered this road lead to that canyon. Was it someone her brother missed? She subconsciously looked at Dongfang's eyes again. It was too calm. This wasn't right. She learned acting before. Although it was very easy at that time, was he not scared of the gun when she was pointing it at him? His eyes should be scared a little, right? However, she didn't see it at all. She then looked at Dongfang's hands. They seemed to be moving slowly as though trying to support himself up. But Tang Beiwei already had the preconceived opinion that he escaped from her brother. She walked a few steps in and pointed the gun at Dongfang's hand and fired. It was this close that Tang Beiwei didn't miss hitting Dongfang, she right in the arm. Crank! A knife fell to the ground. Tang Beiwei immediately knew she was right. This guy was bad and almost killed her. Dongfang's face immediately became pale. He didn't think Tang Beiwei would fire again. The knife in his hand fell. He originally wanted to stab her when she came to help him up, but now he felt worried. This girl was really fierce. He didn't know that since Tang Beiwei was so pretty, she acted very fierce to stop people advancing on her. "Don't shoot, I was telling the truth." Although Dongfang, she was still trying to trick Tang Beiwei, but his eyes weren't as calm as before. "Okay, I won't fire," Tang Beiwei said and took a few steps forward. Dongfang, she felt relieved but stared deadly at Tang Beiwei. As soon as she came near, he would take the gun from her. However, when Tang Beiwei was about 2 meters from him, she stopped and fired again at Dongfang's knee. "Arg! You stupid B*****th. Dianfang, she didn't expect Tang Beiwei, who was so kind just then, to be so nasty. Tang Beiwei ignored him and fired again at his leg, thinking that this pistol was really easy to use. However, she pulled the trigger many times and there was no reaction. She immediately understood she was out of bullets. She put the gun in her pocket and took out a fireball charm, but took a few steps back. B****th, you are so sinister. Dongfang, she saw there was no more bullets and finally felt relieved, but he was still thinking about how to kill Tang Beiwei. B****th, you are so sinister. Dongfang, she saw there was no more bullets and finally felt relieved, but he was still thinking about how to kill Tang Beiwei. Tang Beiwei picked up another rock and smashed it towards Dongfang's other leg. "You bad thing. You think I don't know who you are? You are with Wei Yongqian, and you broke my necklace. I'll smash you." Dongfang, she wanted to avoid the stone, but he was so close to Tang Beiwei and he was heavily injured now, so he couldn't dodge it at all. The stone hit his leg, making him sweat with pain. "You stinking B****th. Just wait till when I tell you who you are to Yemo. You will be happier, ha ha ha." Dongfang's face looked hideous and sinister due to laughter and extreme pain. He knew it was very hard to run away today. Insolent woman. How could she compare him to a trash like Wei Yongqian? Dongfang, she cruelly said, "You filthy wretch, hitting me so cruelly. I've been a hero for all my life, but am I to die in a woman's hand? In that case, I might as well die in Yumo's hands." Tang Beiwei picked up a rock again and looked at Dongfang with alert. The reason she hadn't killed this person was because she wanted to ask from him, how is Yi Mo now? Seeing Dongfang Shi's wretched cursing, she raised the rock in her hand. Tell me what happened to Yi Mo. Haha. Dongfang Shi laughed hysterically. You filthy SL*T. You're so evil that you won't even let your own brother go. Do you know who Yi Mo is? He's your brother. Are you very happy now? You seduced your brother, ha ha ha. It's satisfying even if I die, ha ha. Dongfang Shi's laugh suddenly stopped. Tang Beiwei looked at him in pity, but there was no despair and desolation in her eyes. There was only irony and contempt. Tang Beiwei originally couldn't bear beating him up like this, but after hearing his words, she knew how easy she went on him. She should have been harder. This wasn't a person anymore, it was an animal. You don't believe me? Dongfang Shi saw there was nothing on Tang Beiwei's face. He even forgot his pinas. A bad feeling came over him. Tang Beiwei looked at him in pity. You want to say I went in bed with my brother and you're happy? Unfortunately, you will be disappointed. My brother knew I was his sister as soon as he saw me. You scum! I really don't know what your parents are like, creating such an anomaly. Dongfang Shi was so angry that he actually spat out blood. Before he said anything, Tang Beiwei smashed the stone on his head. Before Dongfang Shi lost his consciousness, he heard, Idiot, if it wasn't because you let me find my brother, I will burn you to dust immediately. Seeing Dongfang Shi was knocked out, Tang Beiwei finally felt relieved. This guy was too evil, so he was the one who thought of this evil plan. She originally thought it was a coincidence that she met with her brother, but it was actually this animal's idea. Luckily, her brother recognized her, otherwise, Tang Beiwei shivered. She didn't dare to keep thinking. It was the first time she was so cruel to someone, but she didn't feel bad at all. Yi Mo burned Song Hai to dust with a fireball as well as the other bodies. Then he looked at the end of the canyon. According to Song Hai, there should be a metal chain bridge. Dongfang Shi's plan was to trick him in and let him fight with the hidden sect people. Song Qiming, Dongfang Shi. Yi Mo muttered these two names. There was full of killing intent in his eyes. Since they wanted to ambush him, then don't blame him for total annihilation. If Yi Mo was still stage 2, he would still have some concerns, but now he didn't need to at all. However, Dongfang Shi would have never thought that even if he changed the person, he still wouldn't be able to ambush Yi Mo. As long as Yi Mo walked into this canyon, his spirit sense would be able to scan what was on the two sides of the canyon. Dongfang Shi underestimated him too much. Whatever sinister plan it was worthless in the wake of absolute power. Yi Mo once again felt that he should increase his power. Improve his power? Yi Mo looked at the end of the canyon. Since there was an auction, should he go in and see? Who knows if there will be something he needs in the hidden sect auction. Last time he just went to a social night and got a space abyss rock. This auction would definitely be more fruitful. But how was he going to enter? According to Song Hai, the guards were 2 halfway Earth level masters. Then, wouldn't there be people stronger than Earth level there? This wasn't it. Since he was going to buy, he needed money, but he only had tens of thousands left. This wasn't enough for anything. Regardless, he needed to go. Ever since he found the 1,000-year snow, lotus seed, and face preserving fruit, he no longer underestimated Earth. Perhaps there was really things he needed. Worst comes to worst, he would go back and make some artifacts and a few face preserving pills. Today's slaughter was satisfying, but Dongfang Shi ran away. Yi Mo was very uncomfortable. Dongfang Shi was like a venomous snake. If Dongfang Shi knew Tang Beiwei was his sister and still let her seduce him, then he was too malevolent. He would go back and take away Tang Beiwei first. Yi Mo didn't choose to go into the canyon. He just walked a few steps and his phone started vibrating. It was Tang Beiwei. Yi Mo quickly picked up. Brother, I caught Dongfang Shi. I'm not far from the exit of the road. What do I do? Tang Beiwei's voice sounded. What? She actually caught Dongfang 11. Yemo yelled out in joy. Don't go, stay there and wait for me. This Dongfang, she is very useful to me. Hearing this, Tang Beiwei felt as though she ate honey. She could finally help her brother. When Yemo arrived, Dongfang, she just woke up. He saw Yemo come over, and his eyes were faint. He knew he was a goner. Brother. Tang Beiwei looked at Dongfang she nervously. She was scared that with the slightest carelessness this guy would run away, and because of that, she kept all her attention to him. Yemo walked over, took another mini pistol from Dongfang she's leg, and then said, Beiwei, why did you come here? Huh, he still has a gun. I was almost tricked by him. Tang Beiwei looked in shock while Yemo took another gun. She also gave the pistol in her pocket to Yemo. This guy is very cunning. Luckily, you weren't tricked by him. Yemo then looked at the necklace on Tang Beiwei's chest, which seemed faint. He frowned and said, he attacked you. Tang Beiwei nodded and told everything that had happened from the hotel till now. Yemo then turned to look at Dongfang she with even colder eyes. This guy was like a snake. Luckily, he fell in his hands today. Otherwise, he really wouldn't be able to sleep. Mr. Yi, as long as you let me go, I'm willing to be your servant. You also know that I only tried to fight because we were on different sides. As long as I serve you, I will live by your words. Dongfang, she was completely full of despair after Yemo took away his gun. Before Yemo spoke, Tang Beiwei quickly said, Brother, don't trust him. He's purely evil. He opened fire on me as soon as he saw me, and he knew we were siblings, but still used such an evil plan. Yemo's eyes grew bleaker. His guess was right. This Dongfang, she really knew Tang Beiwei was his sister. This man was scary like a snake. Yemo walked over and kicked Dongfang she's other hand broken. Then he said to Dongfang she, I will make you die slowly. I'm not interested in having a wild dog that lost its humanity to serve me. Dongfang she's eyes hardened and immediately said, Yemo, if you have guts, then give me a quick one. I know a lot of things. If you give me a quick one, I will tell you everything. Yemo raised his hand and patted on Dongfang she's head. He then pointed at the center of his eyebrows and coldly said, No need. I have ways to make you talk. Dongfang, she struggled a little, but soon turned doll-like. Yemo looked at him and asked, Tell me, why are you ambushing me? How many of North Sand's base do you know? Where are they? What other purpose do you have this time? Dongfang, she numbly spoke. I only know the Asian base. It's in Vietnam. Whitetail Groove. I don't know anything else. This time, I came to get back the Space Sunflower Design Map. Space Sunflower Design Map? Yemo immediately remembered the model Wendong gave him. Thinking about Wendong, he wondered if she had recovered. He wanted to get the map, and now he learned that North Sand hid very deep. Even Dongfang, she didn't know a lot of things. It seemed they were just using each other, but Yemo didn't care. He only needed Dongfang she to know the location, and he would kill them all. Yemo continued asking, How did you know I was siblings with Tang Beiwei? Screech, a sharp sound, interrupted Dongfang she's reply, and there was struggle in his eyes. He actually woke up and looked at Yemo in terror. He started rubbing his teeth against each other as fast as he could. Screech, a sharp sound, interrupted Dongfang she's reply, and there was struggle in his eyes. He actually woke up and looked at Yemo in terror. He started rubbing his teeth against each other as fast as he could. A gush of black blood spilled out from Dongfang she's mouth. Yemo immediately knew it wasn't good. Dongfang, she actually woke up at the last minute. This wasn't it. He had poison in his mouth. Just when Yemo wanted to save him, Dongfang, she already died. Even his skin color changed black. Such potent poison, Yemo sighed. He had never seen such a poison, and with his current power, and there was no way he could save Dongfang she unless he made Lotus Life Pill. Brother, he killed himself? Tang Beiwei also saw that Dongfang she had died. Yi Mo nodded and burnt Dongfang she with a fireball before saying, "It's too easy for him to die like this." But a nocturnal bird interrupted us. If it wasn't for that bird, I would have known everything else, but that doesn't matter. Brother, you really gave me Dao magic charms? There really are fireballs and my necklace was broken, Tang Beiwei said. Everything is fine as long as you're okay. I'll help you refine your necklace later. Let's go first. We might come back here tomorrow. Yi Mo thought tomorrow was the auction. Tang Beiwei felt warm at heart, thinking it was really good to have a big brother. She gave the remaining fireball charms to Yi Mo and said, "I still have a few left. Keep it for self-defense. I'll still need to make some other things tonight." Yi Mo pushed it back and thought before saying, "Don't tell anyone about this, okay?" Tang Beiwei affirmatively said, "I know, don't worry, brother, I won't tell anyone. Brother, I want to go back and see my mom. Are we coming here again tomorrow?" Yi Mo nodded and said, "Tomorrow's thing is very important to me. I have to come. I will treat your mom, don't worry. Let's find a place to stay first. You walk too slow, I'll carry you." Despite Yi Mo carrying Tang Beiwei, it was almost 12 a.m. by the time they walked to the nearest hotel. Yi Mo told Tang Beiwei to sleep early since he needed to make something. Beijing Song family. The most worried person was Song Qiming. Songhai and Dongfang, she had no news ever since they went. And Dongfang, she said they brought the plan forward. It was already daylight now, but they didn't receive any news. He couldn't contact anyone on Wuliang Mountain. Song Qiming, with bloodshot eyes, had a bad feeling. He felt that something must have happened to Songhai. His heart skipped thinking about this. If something happened to Songhai, it meant Yi Mo was fine. If Yi Mo was fine, it meant that he would come to Beijing tomorrow and exact revenge on the Song family. If it was a normal person, the Song family wouldn't be scared at all, but Yi Mo was a madman. He wouldn't even care about the laws of the country. Plus, even if the government could intervene, Yi Mo would still go on a carnage, and the Song family people wouldn't even be enough for him to kill. If Yi Mo was coming back, there was an 8 a.m. flight to Beijing. What to do? Song Qiming had now regretted challenging Yi Mo's bottom line again and again. Just when Song Qiming was being restless in his office, Song Yuani walked in. "Dad." Song Qiming stood up nervously. Song Yuani sighed. "Since you did it, don't be scared. He doesn't have 3 heads and 6 arms. Our Song family have been passed down for nearly a century. It isn't something a mere Yi Mo can destroy unless he disregards the law." Song Qiming's worried looks regressed a little, but still worriedly asked, "What do we do now? Should we report immediately?" Song Yunei shook his head. "It's useless. Yi Mo is the head instructor of the special forces. Even if he isn't, the old guy from the Yi family would use tricks. As such, we still need to rely on ourselves. Yi Mo hasn't attacked us yet. If he does, we would suffer heavily even if get support from above. With his power to kill O family's tiger and Li Mingqiang, it wouldn't be hard for him to kill all of us before reinforcement comes." Song Qiming's face was full of regret. "I am to blame. If I didn't let Shaowen so loose, this wouldn't happen." Song Yuani waved his hand. "You are not to blame. Why would a direct grandson of our Song family need to worry if he wants a woman? We just didn't expect Yi Mo to be an ancient martial arts cultivator and was so strong. Song Hai still has no news. You don't need to wait for him. Something must have happened already. This Dongfang, she doesn't live up to his name. We overestimated him." Song Qiming sneered. He regretted completely listening to Dongfang Shi's words. Song Yuani shook his head. There shouldn't have been a problem with his plan. Something just happened in between. There must be another reason. It's not the time to be fussing over this. We need to face Yi Mo's wrath when he comes back. Song Yuani frowned. His eldest son did quite well being the leader of the family all these years, but faced with the life and death of the family, he was indecisive. He thought for a while before saying, I'll go back and find my bro for help. If he can come talk to Yi Mo, it should be enough for Yi Mo to let us go once. But this isn't a fail-proof plan. I'm not sure if Yi Mo will listen to old bro's words. So you need to act. If I'm not wrong, the problem should be on Tang Beiwei. Song Qiming also thought Dongfang she choosing Tang Beiwei was very strange. Then his father continued, I've seen Tang Beiwei's picture. She's indeed pretty, but I don't believe we can't find someone prettier in Beijing. And I know she's your daughter. What's the meaning of using your daughter as a spy when he's cooperating with you? Is there some other reason in here? Dad. Song Qiming looked down in guilt. Although he knew his dad knew about this, he didn't bring it up. He didn't expect his dad to bring it up. Song Yuani sighed. I'm not blaming you. However, when you do things in the future, you need to clean up the trails. How could an outsider know about this? You need to investigate Tang Jin, and you need to go visit her personally. If Tang Beiwei really managed to have something with Yi Mo, then she would be a breakthrough point. If we want Tang Beiwei's help, you need to do work on Tang Jing. Since that Tang Beiwei could accept this deal for her mother, this means her mother is very important for her. I understand. Song Qiming admired his father's eyes, finding the key point immediately. Song Yuani nodded. Most importantly, immediately hold a family meeting. Tell them to disperse. Those who can leave the country, leave tomorrow morning. Those who can't go to the ends of the country, leave the main members. And I need to go see Yi Beirong and Ning Fujin. Even if we pay a heavy price, we need to overcome this disaster. Song Qiming looked at his father in surprise. He didn't expect the family had to be dispersed in order to overcome this. Hurry up, the other things are outside things. As long as the family doesn't fall, we will get it back. Seeing Song Qiming was still hesitating, Song Yuani immediately reproached. Yes, father. Song Qiming knew that as Yi Mo was getting stronger and stronger, the Song family no longer had the power to fight with him. After a busy night, Yi Mo finally made 6 face-preserving pills and 3 lotus life pills by 9 a.m. in the morning. Yi Mo sighed. His power was too low, and he wasted too much material. This was even with the help of Shen Nong cauldron. If he didn't have this cauldron, he would waste more. Brother. Seeing Yi Mo stand up, Tang Beiwei rushed over. Although she knew Yi Mo had great metaphysical power, she saw with her own eyes that her brother hadn't slept for a few nights, so she was very worried. Yi Mo smiled and waved his hand. I'm fine, eat this pill. I've refined your necklace. Wear it. Then Yi Mo gave her the face-preserving pill and the necklace. What pill is this? Tang Beiwei took the pill, and it smelled very refreshing. It's called face-preserving pill. You won't age after eating it. Eat it. Yi Mo's new appearance was very important to women. Since he had 6 face-preserving pills, he wouldn't be stingy. Tang Beiwei took the pill with shaky hands. She would never believe this before, but now she trusted Yi Mo wholeheartedly. A pill that could preserve her looks? The price, she didn't dare to think. Yi Mo knew what Tang Beiwei was thinking and casually said, Eat it, I still have a lot more. Tang Beiwei suddenly felt a warm feeling flow in her heart. Although she wasn't sure Yi Mo was her brother, but seeing he could give something as valuable as this to her meant that he really treated her as a little sister. Although she knew Yi Mo wouldn't lie to her, Tang Beiwei was still shocked by the effects of the face-preserving pill. After eating it and taking another shower, even Tang Beiwei couldn't believe she changed so much. Although she knew Yi Mo wouldn't lie to her, Tang Beiwei was still shocked by the effects of the face-preserving pill. After eating it and taking another shower, even Tang Beiwei couldn't believe she changed so much. Before eating the pill, she was a top-grade pretty girl, but now she thought she had become a goddess. Was the girl in the mirror really her? She couldn't even imagine. Her skin was pearly white and her already perfect face was smoother. Brother, this pill is really magical. Tang Beiwei ran out and yelled in joy. Yi Mo smiled and said, Of course, you think it's easy to make? Although it's not very complicated, but one of the materials is very precious. Thank you, brother. Tang Beiwei ran in front of Yi Mo, then hugged him and kissed him. No girl didn't like beauty. Tang Beiwei was no exception. She was really grateful that her brother gave her that pill. Yi Mo patted Tang Beiwei's head and said, Beiwei, I need to go in the mountain again. Wait for me here. He wanted to go to the auction, but knew he wasn't from the hidden sex, and thus wasn't sure if he could go in. It would be inconvenient to bring Tang Beiwei. She nodded and said, I know, brother, I want to go see Mom today. Yi Mo thought it would make Tang Beiwei quite worried for her to wait here by herself, so he took a bottle and gave it to Tang Beiwei. Give your mother the medicine in this bottle and wait for me to come back and cure her. Tang Beiwei agreed and took the bottle. I'm at Tandu, Shurfan Uni. If you come, just go to the English campus to find me. Okay, after I'm done with the things over here, I will go find you. Remember, if that Wei Yongqian does anything to you, just burn him with the fireball. If anything happens, I will take the blame for you, Yi Mo said. Tang Beiwei felt very warm from her brother's concern, but was still shocked by Yi Mo's words. No one could escape killing people in the city, but she knew her brother was doing it for her good and didn't argue. Yi Mo sent Tang Beiwei on the taxi before heading back to that canyon. After entering the forest, Yi Mo kept seeing some strange people. They rarely talked to each other. Yi Mo thought these people were probably all going to the auction. He wanted to ask someone around, but found everyone was very careful and discreet. Many people used black masks to cover their face. Yi Mo cursed. It was just a mere hidden sect auction, but they made it like the cultivation realm. However, he thought that he was only stage 3, so he also took out a black cloth and covered his face. After entering the canyon, Yi Mo found that most of the people at the auction were yellow and black level. There were a few earth level masters, but compared to black level, there were very little. This made Yi Mo feel relieved. He was only one line from tertiary stage of stage 3 Qi gathering. Once he reached that level, he would have the confidence to fight with earth level masters. Just when Yi Mo entered the canyon, he saw a circle of people watching something, so he also squeezed over. When he came in, he saw a familiar person. It was the girl whom he cut one arm off, but this girl's arm was reattached. There was a beautiful, serene-looking nun beside her who only looked in her 30s. He didn't expect this girl to appear here. She was working with Lang Ji for Qianlongtu before, and her flying swords were quite good. Was she also from the hidden sex? Regardless, Yi Mo had no interest to care, as long as they didn't annoy him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so easy to mess with. Next time, it wouldn't just be an arm but becoming ash. Yi Mo focused his attention in the circle. 2 men were at a standoff. One was yellow level tertiary stage, and the other one was black level tertiary level. Their difference in power was too great. The yellow level person already had a slash mark on his chest, and the blood kept flowing. It was obvious that the 2 were fighting. Su Ping, you're just a solitary ghost. How dare you fight over things with me? You ran last time, but if you don't hand it this time, this place will be your burial ground. The black level man sneered. Su Ping wiped the blood from his mouth and said, You're so shameless. Just because you're from Broken Fist Hall, you think you can do whatever you want? I found the red meteor first, and I got it first. What right do you have to take it? Shameless. Everyone had understood now. It was definitely because the Broken Fist Hall man wanted someone else's thing and wanted to rob it from him. No one would believe that a yellow level fighter would try to rob from a black level warrior. Yi Mo heard the name Broken Fist Hall and frowned. This name was so familiar. At this moment, the black level tertiary stage man walked forward and punched Su Ping on the chest. Su Ping spat out more blood. A bag had fallen into the broken fist, Hall's man's hands from his chest. Although everyone witnessed this happen, no one wanted to go up and say something fair. Yi Mo scanned the thing in the bag and was shocked. That wasn't some red meteor, but instead, it was a star jade. Star jade was very rare even in the cultivation realm. That was something strong people fought over. It could be used to make extreme grade spirit artifacts. Star jade was very hard to form. It was formed from meteor that had undergone countless modifications by space-time. The redder the star jade was, the higher the grade was. This jade was already red, meaning that it was very high quality. Yi Mo's eyes went cold. He had to get this star jade, no matter what. With that, his flying sword could be forged. But what excuse was he going to make to rob this? Looking at Su Ping on the ground, Yi Mo thought and walked out. He helped Su Ping up and gave him a medical pill, saying, "Friend, eat this first. I don't believe there is no justice in this world." Su Ping took the pill and looked gratefully at Yi Mo. "Thanks, brother, I'm Su Ping. But you have no business here. Move aside. That man is Zheng Qingze. He's from the Broken Fist Hall." It was obvious that Su Ping was implying Yi Mo couldn't mess with the Broken Fist Hall. Yi Mo smiled. No matter how strong the sect was, he wouldn't pass the Star Jade. If he could use the Star Jade to make his flying sword, he would be able to kill Earth-level masters. He didn't believe a mere Broken Fist Hall was full of Earth-level masters. Broken Fist Hall, Yi Mo suddenly remembered that he got a dagger from killing O Tanhu, and the dagger had the words Broken Fist. So that was it. Yi Mo knew that O Tanhu and Zheng Qingze were in the same group. In that case, the Broken Fist Hall would come looking for him sooner or later. Thus, he might as well kill one first. Thinking about this, Yi Mo's killing intent rose. "Punk, justice is in the hands of the strong. F*CK off. Our Broken Fist Hall's matter is not something you can intervene with." Zheng Qingze saw there was someone helping Su Ping, someone so young with a covered face. This caused him to become immediately angry. Yi Mo slowly stood up and coldly looked at Zheng Qingze before saying heroically, "I like to intervene in things I don't see right. Broken Fist Hall? Very strong. I'm going to intervene today. What are you going to do?" Then Yi Mo felt a little guilty. Su Ping was not a bad person, but he used him. Although he did it for the Star Jade, Yi Mo's words immediately got the agreement of the surrounding people. It was obvious Zheng Qingze's overruling actions had made people unhappy, but no one said anything. Now that Yi Mo came out to say something, people immediately conformed. Zheng Qingze coldly looked around before glaring at Yi Mo and Su Ping and said, "You two are lucky today. Don't make me see you again." Then he turned to leave. Yi Mo came for the Star Jade today, and saving Su Ping was just a part of the package. How could he let the main thing escape? He didn't even think and stopped Zheng Qingze. "You want to go? Stop dreaming. You think you can leave after taking other people's thing? Punk, you want to die." Zheng Qingze was really angry now. Although he was annoyed that Yi Mo saved Su Ping, he got the thing, so he didn't care. Now that he wanted to leave, this insolent punk dared to stop him. Zheng Qingze didn't even think and swung with the long sword he pulled out from his back. However, Yi Mo didn't dare to block with his long sword because he couldn't expose that he had a storage ring. Second, he knew that sword was troublesome. If people knew Bien Po's sword was on him, he would be the primary suspect. Without a weapon to use, Yi Mo wanted a flying sword even more. In a moment's time, Zheng Qingze's sword was already in front of Yi Mo. People couldn't bear to look. After all, Yi Mo was only in his 20s. Even if he learnt martial arts at a very young age, and even if he was extremely talented, he could only be yellow level at most. How could he be a match for Zheng Qingze? However, Yi Mo didn't care about that much. He locked Zheng Qingze's sword with his spirit sense and struck out with his fist. No one dared to believe that Yi Mo dared to fight a long sword with his fist. Everyone thought Yi Mo was crazy. With the clash of fist and sword, there was no sound of flesh being sliced, but instead a metallic clank. Zhang Qing's long sword was smashed into the ground, while he himself was forced multiple steps back. With the clash of fist and sword, there was no sound of flesh being sliced, but instead a metallic clank. Zhang Qing's long sword was smashed into the ground, while he himself was forced multiple steps back. Yi Mo's hand was perfectly fine, and at this moment, Yi Mo followed up with another kick on Zhang Qing's dantian. He flew many meters out and smashed onto a distant boulder as he spat out blood. It was obvious he couldn't survive this. Then Yi Mo walked in front of Zhang Qingze and took the bag from his chest. Everyone took a cold breath. Zhang Qingze was someone who cultivated ancient martial arts to black level tertiary stage, but he only lasted 2 moves in Yi Mo's hands. This youth was too ferocious. Although Zhang Qingze underestimated Yi Mo, he wouldn't last more than 20 moves even if he didn't. So strong, but he started feud with the Broken Fist Hall. Although it wasn't some first-grade sect, it still had an Earth-level master. Most people didn't know how Yi Mo knocked the sword away with his fist, but 2 of the Earth-level masters saw clearly. Yi Mo smashed his fist accurately on the flat surface of the sword. The 2 compared themselves and felt even if they fought Zhang Qingze, they wouldn't be able to win so easily. This young man was excessively strong, and they couldn't even tell which sect he came from. The girl who had her arms severed by Yi Mo looked at Yi Mo before saying to her pretty nun master in a low voice, "Master, I seem to have seen him somewhere, but I just can't remember." The nun immediately reproached Zishu, "Don't say random things. It's very hard for us to come in here." Yi Mo gave the bag to Su Ping and said, "Brother Su, this is yours." He was thinking of how he would trade it over later. However, Su Ping pushed and said, "Brother got into conflict with the Broken Fist Hall due to me, so I feel really bad. This thing isn't really useful to me, and your power is higher than me. As such, I'll just give it to you. I haven't asked for your name." Yi Mo came for this star jade, and hearing these words, he didn't try to act polite. He took the jade and took out another defensive jade. This is a defensive magic artifact. It's far as valuable as your meteor, so if I get the chance in the future, I will pay you back properly. I'm MOing. Yi Mo didn't dare to act cocky here. Everyone had some sort of background here. Although he was confident, he wasn't confident enough to ignore everyone here. Su Ping took the jade and laughed. "Brother Mo, you're being too polite. It's my luck to be able to get to know a friend like Brother Mo." However, this also made Brother Mo get into conflict with the Broken Fist Hall, making me very sorry. Yi Mo immediately looked at this Su Ping differently. Not only was he straightforward, but he also didn't fear the Broken Fist Hall. Yi Mo laughed. "The Broken Fist Hall isn't a threat to me. If they dare to harass me again, I don't mind going and annihilating this place." Yi Mo said this purposely. He killed O Tanhu and Zhang Qingze, so there was no coexisting between the 2 anymore. Instead of being fearful, he might as well bright the feud to the surface. Plus, as long as he got the Star Jade, he could make his flying sword. Once that was done, his battle power would increase many folds. Right, if the Broken Fist Hall dare to come, us 2 brothers will go slaughter them. Su Ping was also full of heroic feeling. Everyone started to leave seeing there was nothing to watch, and all went into the canyon. Brother Mo also came to participate in the auction. Seeing everyone leave, Su Ping asked. Yi Mo nodded. "I heard there's an auction here, so I came to see what's good." Su Ping dazed and asked, "Don't you have an entry card?" "There's an entry card." Yi Mo heard this for the first time and asked. Su Ping took out a jade card and said, "Of course, I also spent a lot of effort to get this." Yi Mo took the card and looked. He thought he also had this card. He searched this from Yulian. The number was 37, while Su Ping's card had 101. "Is it this sort of jade card?" Yi Mo casually took out Yulian's card. thinking that luckily, Jing she didn't search Yu Lian's body after killing him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have a card to enter. Su Ping took it and looked. Indeed, that's the right one. Your card is in the front 50, so you can bring an extra person. The numbers after 50, such as me, can only go in by themselves. I didn't know Brother M.O. had such a high-level card. In that case, let's go in. Although Su Ping didn't ask, he was sure Yi-mo was an Earth-level master because other than Earth-level masters, only people with high status could have it. The two talked for a while and realized both were solitary cultivators without a sect. Although Yi-mo had a good impression of Su Ping, he still didn't tell everything. After all, Su Ping didn't either. They were all in Jiang who won. Who among them knew each other completely? When they were hot-blooded, they could die together, but when there was conflict of interest, perhaps they would sell each other out. After all, they just met each other. Yi-mo and Su Ping walked past the canyon, went through the metal chain bridge, and entered a long and narrow path. This path was built on the steep wall of the cliff. Looking down, there was no bottom to be seen at all. It was completely shrouded in clouds. It seemed as though they would be blown down by the wind at any moment. Those scared of heights would perhaps faint already. But of those who came to the auction, who would be afraid of heights? Yi-mo wasn't at all. After passing through a few kilometers of small cliff side road, the way opened up in front. There were large packs of trees and brushes, seeming very quiet and pretty. At the end of all that was a tower set up with wood, with the words Shishuang Temple. Yi-mo saw many people hold the jade card and walk in. He knew he had arrived and couldn't help to compliment Dongfang Shi. He didn't even cultivate, but had so much information about what went on in here. Yi-mo wondered how this was possible. It seemed that no one should be underestimated. Everyone had their own way. Yi-mo took note of the two men guarding the door. They were both peak stage black level power. According to Song Hai, these two brothers lusted with their life. There were a lot of women here today. He wondered how they would lust, but Yi-mo didn't believe they dared to attack a woman in broad daylight. Yi-mo and Su Ping walked at the back. He knew it was not even 11 a.m., while the auction was starting at 3 p.m. Yi-mo observed careful the two guards, and indeed, their eyes kept circulating on women, especially when the two nuns from Lianhang Jing Mosque came. They almost drooled. Yi-mo saw the shorter one squeeze one of the nuns' hand when they entered. The nun took her hand back quickly, and the jade card even fell to the ground. She quickly picked it up and pulled the other nun in and didn't talk. Everyone's card was very correct, and people came in a huge line, so the two didn't dare to overdo it. He understood now that regardless of last night or this afternoon, if he and Tang Beiwei came here, they wouldn't see other people. This was because the auction hadn't started last night. Regardless, with the lust of those two, he would be stopped for sure. These two were indeed not good. Yi-mo immediately knew if he and Tang Beiwei were stopped, they were going to have conflict 100%. Dongfang Shi's plan was really malevolent. Luckily, he killed Dongfang Shi. Otherwise, he really wouldn't be able to rest easy. This man kept using evil and insidious plans. It was Yi-mo and Su Ping's turn. Yi-mo handed his card in, and so did Su Ping. The man on the left with the eagle nose felt strange that Yi-mo didn't bring anyone but had a card within 50. Normally, those people with a card within 50 would bring someone in. Although Yi-mo covered his face with a mask, his age was too young. "Which sect are you from?" The man thought those who had these cards were usually from the bigger sects and the big, wealthy corporations in the mortal world, but Yi-mo didn't look like it at all. Yi-mo shook his head. "I don't have a sect." The eagle nose studied Yi-mo a bit more. Since Yi-mo didn't have a sect, it meant Yi-mo needed to bribe him. But Yi-mo had no intentions of that at all. His eyes grew cold and said, "Where did you steal this card from?" Yi-mo was also pissed and coldly said, "Do I need to report to you? Why do you care where I got it from? All that matters is that it's real." How dare you? A low-level youngling dare to be so impolite. Your card has unclear history. I will confiscate it. Go back to where you came from. The eagle-nosed man was pissed since so many pretty ladies came today, and he couldn't do much at all. But now, Yemo didn't bribe him and was arguing with him. 1 TL note. Jiang, who is another term for society, but more specifically for martial artists and gangsters. Yemo was furious. Out of so many people, they had to stop him. They were bullying him because he had no background but had a card within 50. Yemo was furious. Out of so many people, they had to stop him. They were bullying him because he had no background but had a card within 50. The people from behind saw Yemo have conflict again with the guards. Those who knew Yemo all knew he was quite strong and thought there was going to be another show. I never heard that you needed to ask where the card came from. There shouldn't be such rule. Su Ping immediately intervened. The shorter man on the right side heard Su Ping's words and immediately slapped Su Ping many meters out onto the ground with blood flowing from his mouth. If I say it's needed, then it's needed. What? Do you have a problem? The shorter man looked at Su Ping contemptuously and scanned Yemo coldly. Yemo's eyes went cold and looked at the shorter man. What? You have a problem? If you do, then I'll beat you up as well. Piss off. The shorter man saw Yemo look at him and immediately snapped. Yemo turned his head back slowly. The shorter man saw Yemo P*SSY out under his yell and spat on the ground, sneering. What kind of thing are you? Why don't you look where this is? Everyone saw that Yemo eventually didn't act impulsively and felt relieved for him, but also looked down on him. Piss off. Don't waste other people's time. Seeing Yemo turn around to face him, the eagle-nosed man said contemptuously. Yemo smiled and nodded. And before the other party could react, Yemo suddenly turned around again and with an extremely fast speed then punched the shorter man's dantian. Yemo used all his power in this punch. Pshch. The shorter man spat blood all over the sky and was sent flying 10 meters away. He landed on the ground and didn't move. No one knew if he was dead, but everyone knew there was no difference since that fist had completely shattered his dantian. Yemo's sneak attack succeeded, so he immediately took many steps back to calm his breathing before staring coldly at the eagle-nosed man. Everyone was shocked. This masked youth was so ferocious and so decisive. His sneak attack worked on a half-a-step Earth level master. No one expected Yemo to dare to sneak attack a half-a-step Earth level master. Even that short man himself didn't expect it, but Yemo still did it and succeeded. Was he really some impulsive man that didn't care about anything? Of course, Yemo did. He had already looked at the geology. The road back was built on the cliff face. Other people couldn't escape, but it didn't mean he couldn't. If they really fought, he could jump off with Su Ping. He had wind-controlling technique, so he wasn't afraid at all. To Yemo, if he was going to fight anyways, he might as well eliminate one first and reduce the threat. He wouldn't wait to be ganged up on by 2 peak black level master. That wasn't who he was. Since he was going to sneak attack, of course, Yemo chose the one who was slightly stronger. Plus, he killed the shorter guy first, and if he was to argue later, he would have the advantage as the short guy attacked first. Half a beat later, the eagle-nosed man reacted and screamed, "Bastard, you dare to kill my brother!" Then he pulled out a long sword and hacked towards Yemo's head. In his eyes, Yemo only killed his brother because he sneak attacked. If they really fought, he only needed one sword to kill Yemo. Yemo knew that the eagle-nosed man was weaker than the shorty, but still stronger than Zhang Qingza. So he didn't dare to take him lightly and locked onto the man's sword with a spirit sense. Although the eagle-nosed man's sword was strong, it posed no threat to Yemo. Not only did Yemo keep his spirit sense on the man's sword, but also on the surrounding. He was scared people would come and gang up on him. If more people came, he had to run immediately, and he wouldn't be able to participate in the auction. Seeing there was more fighting here, people came out again to look. At this moment, even those without a card could go in, but since all the people here had cards, no one tried to sneak in. In that brief moment, the eagle-nosed man struck out 12 times. Sword followed by sword, it almost joined to form a veil of swords. Yi-Emo sneered. If he could also pull out the sword, he could kill this man on his 7th sword, but he didn't dare to take out Bien Po's sword and had to fight with his bare fists. Bang! 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 After 12 successive bangs, Yi-Emo and the man separated again. That veil of sword didn't even scratch Yi-Emo's clothes. At this moment, the man realized that Yi-Emo wasn't an easy opponent as he seemed. Although he really wanted to kill Yi-Emo, he knew it couldn't be rushed. The man casually sent out a rocket-like signal and started to attack Yi-Emo again. Yi-Emo saw this signal and knew that it was a call for support. He must finish the battle quickly, regardless if the people who came would be impartial. He had to kill this man no matter what. Although Yi-Emo was worried, this man wasn't so easily killed. Yi-Emo's fists clashed with the man's swords for another round. He was pushed back by Yi-Emo, and he immediately knew Yi-Emo was stronger than him. Although the man was pushed back, Yi-Emo had no joy. His fists were hurting a little too. He knew if he used Wind Blade, he would have finished this guy ages ago, but he didn't dare to use it. At this moment, his spirit sense scanned that 100 meters away, 2 men were closing in quick. Their power was obviously stronger than the eagle-nosed man. No, he couldn't wait and talk when they were here. The moment Yi-Emo pushed back the man, he jumped up and slammed down on the man. "You're asking to die." The man saw Yi-Emo being so cocky, leaving himself wide open towards him. He had a smirk at the corner of his mouth as his sword sliced towards Yi-Emo's chest. Yi-Emo used his body to block everyone's vision as his fist struck on the back of the sword. Meanwhile, a wind blade sliced across the man's neck. The man's sword stopped immediately. He touched his neck in disbelief, until at last his hand powerlessly fell down. Before he died, he still couldn't believe that Yi-Emo used a projectile to kill him. Everyone was stunned. Just then, Yi-Emo was wide open, and this was obviously a no-brainer in martial arts. However, how did this eagle-nosed man die immediately? This youth was too eerie. Many people were warning their younger members to avoid this man if they see him in the future. At this moment, Yi-Emo landed while the 2 gray-clothed men came by Yi-Emo. Yi-Emo's heart skipped. Any of them was much stronger than the eagle-nosed man. He was no match for them. Thinking about this, Yi-Emo subconsciously took a few steps back and moved close to Su Ping. As soon as things weren't right, he would grab Su Ping and run. "How dare you kill the guards of our Shuang temple auction? Who are you? What do you want here?" The man speaking was in his 50s with snow-white hair. Yi-Emo told everything that had happened without worry and said at last, "If you 2 predecessors don't believe me, you can ask everyone else. And I saw the 2 harass the 2 sisters from Lian Hangjing Mosque. It could be seen these 2 aren't good people." The white-haired man looked at the crowd and casually asked. Although no one came out to give evidence, when the man asked, the crowd decided to speak the truth. "Sure Xiong, it seems this young man's right. The Gu brothers are being rude and causing trouble, stopping the guests. This is not tolerated. I felt it wasn't good when we chose these 2 for the guards," the other middle-aged man immediately said. The white-haired man sighed and said, "This isn't something we can decide. We will drop it for now." Then the white-haired man said to Yi-Emo, "You 2 go in first. You must not cause any more trouble. We can't decide on this. You may choose to leave. I won't stop you." Yi-Emo knew these 2 brothers had background support, but he didn't mind. Since he came, he would go in. Thinking about this, he saluted with his fists and said, "Thank you, 2 predecessors." Then Yi-Emo pulled Su Ping in. Everyone saw Yemo come over, and all made way. In their eyes, this masked young man was an extremely bad-tempered person who killed without a second thought. The younger nun of the Lian Hangjing Mosque looked at Yemo's back, pulled the other nun's hand, and said, "This guy is really ferocious. He killed Broken Fist Hall's person in the canyon, and now he killed the Gu brothers. But even so, he helped you get revenge. Should we go thank him later?" The other nun immediately said, "Sure may you err. You are too naive. Do you think he was killing for us? Didn't you see he only killed after the shorty hit his friend? And he used us." When he spoke, it was as though he couldn't resist seeing us being bullied. But he's actually using as an excuse to justify his killing. We mustn't talk to him. "Oh, I understand, Shurjia. Why are the people outside all so bad?" Yuer Nun said with a pouted mouth. Of course, Yemo didn't know he was labeled as malicious by the two nuns. His first objective was to gather enough funding. He didn't have much money on him, and he only had the magic artifacts and the pills he made last night. Of course, Yemo didn't know he was labeled as malicious by the two nuns. His first objective was to gather enough funding. He didn't have much money on him, and he only had the magic artifacts and the pills he made last night. The Shishuang temple was very spacious. Yemo looked around casually, and there was 50 acres of land, and the scene was good. There were small pavilions everywhere for people to rest. Yemo thought no wonder the auction was held here. Yemo confirmed the exact location of the auction and made Su Ping wait for him. He wanted to ask how much his things could be sold for. Seeing Yemo walk into the main place, the girl called Z, Su immediately told the nun next to her, "Master, I recognize him." "Shut up!" The pretty nun reproached the little girl and looked around carefully. Su was frightened and didn't continue talking. She resented Yemo, but feared him at the same time. She resented him for cutting off her arm, but feared his ferocity. He already killed 3 just coming here, and any of these 3 were much stronger than her master. Yemo walked to the entrance to the main stadium and was immediately stopped by a monk in his 30s. "Friend, there's still 2 hours before the start of the auction. You need to wait a little longer." Yemo almost spat out. Didn't monks call people patron? How did the monk call him friend? But luckily he had seen quite some monks who drank and ate meat, so he immediately said, "I have some items that I wish to ask the organizer to auction for me. Is that possible?" "Of course, come with me." The monk wasn't surprised since there were a lot of people who also did that. Yemo was taken to a room on the 3rd floor. Yemo looked around. There were 2 people in the room. One was a skinny old man with glasses and a goatee. He actually looked quite like Dongfang Shi. The other was a middle-aged woman. Her looks were average, but had a royal temperament. It could be easily seen she was no ordinary woman. "You have something you wish to auction?" The tone of the old man with the goatee was very slow. When he spoke, there was a small frown, and this was caught by Yemo. Yemo immediately knew that the goatee saw he was too young and didn't think much of him. Yemo didn't care and took out 5 artifacts he made and said, "Indeed, these are some magic artifacts. Each can defend primary stage yellow stage warriors' full-powered attacks 3 times. "Oh!" The goatee was quite surprised to hear Yemo speak about such a defensive artifact and took it over for perusal. Then he said, "If it really is so, it could be sold for a lot in the mortal world. But it can't be sold for much here. If you agree, I can try it. If it's real, then I can buy it, but the price won't be over 1 million. Yemo knew this goatee was right. This wasn't worth much in the hidden sex indeed. 1 million was decent. If he took it to the outside world, perhaps each would be worth 10 million. Although this price was so much higher than before, Yemo still felt there was no need to sell it again. Because last time, although he sold them for 200K each, that money was enough for him to use. Now, although he could sell for 1 million, 1 million wasn't even anything in this auction. In that case, he might as well leave it to sell outside. Thinking about this, Yi-Mo took the 5 magic artifacts back. The goatee didn't say anything upon seeing this. He also knew the price difference was too huge, but he felt his beard and said, "If you could auction the method to make such things, I think it would be a heavenly price." Yi-Mo sneered. He wouldn't sell the method. Even if he did, the ancient martial arts cultivators here wouldn't be able to make it at all. Spirit sense was not something that could be attained through ancient martial arts. This old man was really calculative. If they could mass produce it and then sell it outside, they could become billionaires easily. Although he was sneering, Yi-Mo calmly said, "This isn't mine, I'm just helping." Then Yi-Mo took out another vase and said, "Inside is a lotus life pill. See how much it's worth." Then Yi-Mo gave the vase to the goatee. The goatee opened it and tipped out a round, extremely aromatic purple pill. It was the size of a longan. It could be seen from the appearance that this pill was not ordinary. But even the goatee had never heard of the lotus life pill. Yi-Mo saw the shock on the goatee's face and knew this goatee didn't know about the lotus life pill. As such, he said, "This lotus life pill is made from the 1,000-year snow lotus seed with 81 other precious herbs. Although it can't save the dead, it could cure any injury as long as there's still a last breath left in the body." Yi-Mo abused the goatee for not knowing about the pill. Yi-Mo increased the materials used to make the pill by more than 10 times. He only used 5 to 6 herbs to make this pill, but he said it was 81. Plus, the 1,000-year snow lotus seed couldn't cure all disease. It focused on extremely heavy external and internal injury. It was also useful for cultivation errors. It was impractical to say that it could cure all disease. Many neurological disease or mental problems couldn't be cured by it, but even so, its effects were exceedingly powerful. The 1,000-year snow lotus seed can really be used in pill? You actually made it. There's such a pill master in the world now. The goatee was shocked. Even the middle-aged woman was shocked. The effects Yi-Mo said was too potent. Yi-Mo smiled and put the pill in the bottle and said, "What I said is all true. Can this pill be auctioned?" The goatee immediately replied, "Yes, it can, but you have to promise your pill is real if it's fake." Yi-Mo sneered. Of course, he knew what the goatee wanted to say, so he immediately replied, "If you don't trust me, then you can say a guest said so, and you won't be responsible." The reason Yi-Mo said that was if the goatee didn't know if the pill was real or fake and opposed its auction, then he would lose a lot. He didn't believe that with so many masters here, not one could recognize whether the pill was genuine. "Okay, we will auction your Lotus Life pill, but we will take 5% of the earnings," the goatee immediately said. "Sure," Yi-Mo immediately agreed. 5% commission was much better than all those taxes outside. "Do you have anything else?" The goatee saw that all that Yi-Mo took out was good stuff, and thus he had more expectations. Yi-Mo took out another bottle and gave it to the goatee. "Take a look at this." The goatee opened the bottle. It was another pill, which was crystal clear and had a pleasant aroma. It was easily seen that it was no ordinary pill. However, the goatee felt embarrassed because he didn't know it again. He was an appraiser, but he couldn't appraise the items many times in a row. Yi-Mo looked and knew this old man was clueless again, so he had to explain, "This is a face-preserving pill. No matter who eats it, they will gain eternal youth." "What?" This time, not only the goatee was shocked, but so was that middle-aged woman. Face-preserving pill was only in the legends. Who knew if there was such a thing in the world? Seeing the goatee's hand shake, Yi-Mo quickly put the pill back in the bottle. This hillbilly, if he shook his hands too much, he might drop the pill on the ground. Half a beat later, the goatee woke up and looked at Yi-Mo. "Brother, you can't **T. If this is real, do you know how much implications it will cause? This will be an uproar because this pill is invaluable." The middle-aged woman also stared anxiously at Yi-Mo because she wasn't sure if Yi-Mo was being genuine. Yi Mo smiled and said, "Of course this is real. I will be at the auction. You can sell this first, and the buyer can test it on the spot. If it's fake, you can sell me out." Although he said that, Yi Mo became wary. It seemed it was an impulsive move to sell this pill. If everyone knew he was the seller, perhaps all the masters in the world would come chasing after him. Power, as long as he had enough power, he wouldn't fear other people, but he was too weak now. Yi Mo desperately wanted to get stronger again. If he was a foundation establishment cultivator now, who dared to oppose him, he could casually turn an entire sect to dust. But the reality was that he wasn't. Perhaps at this place, he would never be able to reach foundation establishment. This was why he had to come to this auction. If he found some precious spirit, herbs, or ores, those would be the things that would help him break through. Another thing was, regardless if the temple would betray him after he sold the pill, he had to be ready. Luckily, he covered his face before coming in and changed his name. Another thing was, regardless if the temple would betray him after he sold the pill, he had to be ready. Luckily, he covered his face before coming in and changed his name. Okay, if your pill is really as you say, it will be a heavenly priced pill. But because it is the first time, I don't think it can be sold for a good price. After all, this is too unbelievable. Yi Mo knew the goatee was saying the truth. Yi Mo took out another pill and gave it to the goatee. "I have 2 of these, save one for the middle of the auction. I think the second one will sell for a good price." The goatee was dumbfounded by the second pill. It was already impossible to have one, but this youth took out 2. But if he was a fraud, did he not want to live? That would be suicide in this place. The middle-aged woman's gaze was fixed on the pill. If she didn't have concerns, she would have rushed up and robbed it. However, she also knew that even if she sold everything she owned, she wouldn't necessarily be able to afford this pill. The goatee took out the second pill and sighed. "These 2 pills will be the most precious thing on the entire auction." Suddenly, the middle-aged woman seemed to have thought of something and said, "May I ask if this pill is made from red leaf pumpkin fruit?" Yi Mo had a fright and thought of another huge problem. It wasn't just a few people who knew about the red leaf pumpkin fruit on Wuliang Mountain. Many people did, and the main effect of it was for beauty. It wasn't hard to guess, and his pill even had the scent of the red leaf pumpkin fruit. This couldn't be concealed. If people knew he got the red leaf pumpkin fruit, then perhaps they would know that he killed Bien Pa and Yu Lian. Last time, it wasn't just Bien Pa and Yu Lian who died. There was also the Baldy and many other black-level masters. Seeing the goatee and the woman look at him like this, he thought F***ck. Since they already know, it couldn't be hidden anymore. He might as well admit it and make the pill earn more. Then he would go exterminate the Song family as soon as the auction ended, and then cultivate in seclusion. If a cultivator were to be concerned about this, and that, how the F***ck can they even cultivate? Thinking about this, Yi Mo calmly said, "I heard the Qian Bei one who made the pill say there was indeed an ingredient called the red leaf pumpkin fruit. You can say it at the auction." Even the goatee knew this face-preserving pill was 90% real, much less the woman. An hour or so later, Yi Mo and the goatee did the procedures, and Yi Mo came out to find Su Ping. The first thing he asked was, "Brother Su, what are you trying to buy at the auction?" Su Ping shyly said, "My finance is limited. I just want to buy a good sword." "I use sword, but I still haven't been able to find a good sword." Yi Mo thought about the eagle-nosed man he killed. The sword he used was not bad, but he didn't take it. It could be said the killing was unprovoked. But if he were to take someone's thing, then there would be doubts about his actions. Although Bien Po's sword was very good, Yi Mo didn't even dare to take out for auction. If he gave it to Su Ping now, it would harm him. Thinking after a while, Yi Mo said, "Brother Su, if you trust me, you should leave here immediately and go as far as possible. A year later, you can come and find me in Beijing. I promise I will get you a good sword. Yi Mo originally wanted Su Ping to go to Ninghai next year to teach the taekwondo guy a lesson, but he thought if he were to tell Su Ping he was Shering, then his identity would be exposed. He should wait till he was stronger before telling Su Ping who he was. What's the matter, Brother Mo? Su Ping nervously asked. He knew Yi Mo was much stronger than him, but even Yi Mo was worried. This meant that the problem wasn't small. Yi Mo didn't hide it from him and said, I believe there will be a hunt for me after the auction. I have faith in escaping. But if they don't catch me, you might be in danger, Brother Su. Hearing Yi Mo's words, Su Ping immediately said, Okay, I will leave immediately. Brother Mo, be careful. If the Broken Fist Hall people dare to do anything to you, I will bring someone down even if I die. Yi Mo felt touched. They just met, after all. Although they quite liked each other, he helped Su Ping partially due to ulterior motives. But now, Su Ping listened to him without a second thought, making Yi Mo feel Su Ping was someone worth becoming friends with. When Su Ping left, the auction had started. Many people started going in. Although Yi Mo had a black cover on his face, he wasn't outstanding as he wasn't the only one. Yi Mo scanned with his spirit sense. The highest level people were earth level, but most people were yellow level and black level. Suddenly, Yi Mo noticed someone familiar. It was Li Qiuyang. He saw him once at Beijing and knew he was from the Li family. However, Yi Mo knew that Li Qiuyang wasn't exactly an outstanding member of the younger generation of the Li family. How could he come in? Yi Mo looked carefully again and found that although he looked very like Li Qiuyang, they weren't the same person. It should be someone related to Li Qiuyang. He didn't expect the background support of the Li family to be so huge. They were even related to the hidden sections. Yi Mo was astonished. There weren't much people at the auction, only about 500. Su Ping was able to get a number in the 100s, meaning his luck was quite good. The top 50 each had a small room. Yi Mo was 37 and also got a room. The auctioneer was an old man in his 50s. Yi Mo looked at this old man and knew that the latter was much stronger than all the people he had fought. The old man walked onto the stage. Then he paused before saying in a loud voice, I'm Shi Wushan. I've been invited to be the auctioneer for this hidden sect auction. Everyone knows that although we have an auction every 5 years, there are treasures coming out each time. I would like to represent the Shi Shuang Temple and the sellers to thank the many guests for coming as well as the friends from the mortal world. Okay, let's begin the auction. Yi Mo heard the words and thought, were there people from the mortal world? What power factions were they? Even the Yi family and Song family couldn't come. Those who could be here definitely had power. Did that Li Qiuyang-looking man represent the Li family? But the Li family wasn't the number one family. It seemed there were people from other families here, but perhaps to get covered their face like him. Shi Wushan's interrupted Yi Mo's thoughts. The first item is definitely something that will shock your mind. I don't dare to say there won't be something more precious than this in the future, but it is, for sure, the most precious thing we've ever had. Then he took out a jade vase and said, This is a face-preserving pill after consumption. It will grant eternal youth. It can even extend life by a decade. This is made with red leaf pumpkin fruit as the main ingredient with tens of other precious herbs. The starting price is 1 million. Each time, the increment must be no lower than 100K. Yi Mo thought they actually changed his porcelain vase into a jade vase. It seemed these people really know how to do business, haha. So there was immediately rustling below. After all, this effect was too potent, no one dared to imagine such a thing even existed. After the boisterous rant, there was silence. No one called a price. Yi Mo's heart sunk. Did no one believe it? Shi Wushan coughed. Calm down, everyone. If people don't believe it after buying it, you may consume it now. We have someone here who will be responsible. Brother Shi, according to you, you say this pill is made from red leaf pumpkin fruit and many people have heard about it being in the Wuliang Mountain not longer ago. However, an elder of our Dian-song has gone missing in Wuliang Mountain. She brother, please tell me who sent this for auction. We Dian-song will be very grateful. A man in his 40s stood up. Yi Mo immediately looked at this guy and thought, so they came. This person was black level middle stage and looked like he was from Dian-song. However, he didn't know what Shi Wushan would say. Although he was sure the temple wouldn't disclose his information, he was still concerned. Shi Wushan laughed. We are just responsible for auction. We don't ask about anything else. If someone asks such questions again, we will view it as a challenge to our auction. Okay, now people can start calling prices. Then, Shi Wushan's strong qi burst out. It could be seen that his power was so much stronger than that man from Dian-song. That Dian-song man's face was green with anger, but he eventually didn't say anything and sat down. Yi Mo felt very satisfied. The Dian-song people were so arrogant. If he was stage 5 or 6 qi gathering, perhaps he would stand up and say, "It's me, so what?" After a while, no one called a price. Yi Mo felt annoyed. Were these people short of even 1 million? Thinking about this, he couldn't resist and raised his card. 1 million. Since these cowards didn't bid, he would bid for himself first. 1 TL note. Qianbei, predecessor, what people refer to people a generation older than them as. Same meaning as senpai in Japanese. Predecessor is not a very precise translation for that, so I've decided to just use the pinyin. Although he bid a price, Yi Mo looked down on the auctioneer old man, thinking, why was it so hard for you to get a prettier girl to do the talking? If there was a pretty lady wearing exposing clothes, then the atmosphere would go up. It was so unsatisfying having an old man. No one wanted to even bid. Although he bid a price, Yi Mo looked down on the auctioneer old man, thinking, why was it so hard for you to get a prettier girl to do the talking? If there was a pretty lady wearing exposing clothes, then the atmosphere would go up. It was so unsatisfying having an old man. No one wanted to even bid. However, Yi Mo forgot what this place was. It was a temple. Only he could have such a ridiculous idea. 1 million. One voice broke Yi Mo's bid, making him feel relieved. He looked back and discovered that it was actually the pretty nun of the Lian Hangjin Mosque. He thought that this nun enjoyed beauty too, but he was grateful to this nun for helping him out. It seemed the rich people nowadays weren't the big, commercial tycoons, but monks and nuns. 5 million. It was another female voice. Yi Mo didn't look again this time, but it was all women who bid. It seemed everyone loved beauty, especially women. 7 million. 2 million. Yi Mo rejoiced. The price suddenly grew dramatically as more and more people were bidding, while less and less people were suspicious. Soon, the price has skyrocketed to 8 million. These hidden sect people were really rich. Although Yi Mo didn't know how they got their money, it could be seen that a lot of people were bidding, although they weren't too sure about the face-preserving pill. Yi Mo was grateful that Shi Wushang didn't say they weren't responsible for the pills being genuine. After all, this pill was too absurd. If the auctioneer really said that, the price would be really hard to say. Thinking about this, suddenly someone stood up. Mr. Shi, will the auction holder be responsible for the pill being genuine? If they do, then I will bid 50 million immediately. Yi Mo cursed. This son of a B*TCH was looking for trouble. Shi Wushan didn't say they were responsible to avoid the question, but this guy asked, making them unable to pretend they didn't know. As soon as the person asked, Shi Wushan's face sunk as he hummed for a while before saying, "This pill is sent here by someone else, and this person will be completely responsible for the pill. If it's fake, we can hand over this person immediately. We won't be responsible for the pill being fake." Although Shi Wushan was modest with his wording, no one bid for the pill anymore, and it stopped at 9 million. Although everyone had money, this was the first item, and no one knew if it was real. Once this was bought, it would affect the auction if one were to try it on the spot. If they tried it afterwards, who knew if the seller would run away with the money? Most importantly, no one wanted to get into conflict with the auction holder. Otherwise, they wouldn't let them in on the next auction. Yi Mo was annoyed. This Shi Wushan was an idiot. He should have just said that if the buyer realized the pill was fake, then they could give immediate refund. Yi Mo was very annoyed, but he couldn't stand up and say that. May I ask Qianbei Shi, if the pill I buy is fake, can I get refund? A voice asked the words Yi Mo wanted to say. Yi Mo almost wanted to hug the person and kiss her. Shi Wushan immediately replied, we can refund 95%. Okay, in that case I bid 10 million. It was a woman wearing a green skirt. She had a black silk scarf covering her face, but there were still many spots to be seen on her forehead. It was obvious her face was corroded by something. Yi Mo was very happy. However, he was soon disappointed. No one after that bid. He immediately understood why. After all, an auction that was once in 5 years was hard to come by. No one wanted to waste time on trying a pill and missing the item they want. Plus, most people weren't buying the pill for themselves. Plus, if it was fake, not only would they annoy the auction holder, but they would also become a laughingstock. Shi Wushan saw the woman bid and immediately said, Number 46 bid 10 million going once. It seemed Shi Wushan was also very disappointed in the price, but he didn't want to waste time on it anymore. No one else bid, and Yi Mo was very annoyed. Although he believed it wouldn't be surprising if the pill was sold at 100 million, no one was bidding. 10 million twice. 10 million third time. Gone. There wasn't even 1 second between twice and third, but Yi Mo couldn't do anything about it. The woman stood up and wanted to speak, but Shi Wushan said, Lady, you do not need to get up. We will send the pill there. The woman shook her head. I came here for beauty pills. I will try it immediately. Shi Wuhan was dazed for a moment. He didn't think someone would try it immediately. After all, to the people who came to this auction, 10 million really wasn't anything. But soon he reacted, Okay, in that case we will have someone to take you and do the transaction and pill testing. As the woman left, the auction place returned to being calm as though nothing happened before. The next item is still a pill. It's called Body Refining Pill. This pill can make ancient martial arts cultivators have a 40% chance of entering yellow level elementary stage. Starting at 400k, each bid must be no lower than 50k. Shi Wushan took out a porcelain bottle, and Yi Mo almost spat out blood. This was the pill he sold to that Wu Guang monk at the artifact social night. This old monk was really black-hearted. His pill was sold here so quick, and he told the monk before not to spread it out. Almost immediately, the price had risen to 6 million, almost reaching his face-preserving pill. Yi Mo was extremely depressed and didn't want to watch. He knew that although there were a lot of masters in the hidden sects, there were very little people who could really enter yellow level. Eventually, this pill was bought by a man for 5 million. Yi Mo knew that this body refining pill wasn't even worth 1/10,000th of the price of the face-preserving pill, but it was almost sold for the same. Shi Wushan was obviously happy with the price. Then he took another ore from the plate beside him and said, This is an ore that contains an unknown energy. So far, no one knows how to utilize the energy inside. The starting price is 100k. Each bid must be no less than 10k higher. When Yi Mo saw this, he immediately knew it was the right decision to come. This was an essence chi stone. In the cultivation realm, those relatively poor cultivators used essence chi stones to cultivate because it was too hard to get spirit stones. Although essence chi stones weren't as good as spirit stones, it could still be used to cultivate. It was just that the energy wasn't as pure and easy to digest. 100k. Yemo didn't expect someone to bid before him. He waited a while and no one else bidded. It seemed not much people liked it. 110K. Yemo was determined to buy this stone. With this, although he couldn't reach stage 4, it was enough for him to reach the peak of stage 3. 150K. The other person bid again. His voice was louder and sharper than before. 160K. Yemo followed without hesitation. 300K. It seemed the other bidder was angry. His tone was also more threatening. He was angry, but Yemo was angrier. He looked at this person who fought with him and discovered it was actually an Earth-level master. He couldn't tell the person's age, but his face was really bleak. It was obvious that he wasn't to be messed with easily, but Yemo didn't care. Other than a cultivator like him, no one else could utilize it. 310K, Yemo added. This bleak-faced man suddenly sneered. 500K, I, Lone Wolf, will take this, or... Yemo added by 10K each time, making him think Yemo wanted to annoy him. Yemo heard this guy's tone and thought, how dare he be like that? I should be the one angry. Threaten me? In your dreams. But he still called out calmly, I bid 510K, I will have this, or... It seems you want to start sh*T with me, friend. The man glared ravenously at Yemo. If glances could kill, Yemo would have long been died. Yemo didn't even bother to look at him and just said to Shiwushan, Qianbeishi, if no one is going to bid, can you bring down the hammer? You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.